Europeans have voted for members of a new parliament. For the first time in 40 years, the traditional center-right and center-left parties do not have a majority. Far-right, populist, liberal, and green parties made significant encroachments. Far-right populists were particularly strong in Italy and France. And then in the UK, Nigel Farage's New Brexit Party captured over 30% of the vote. The biggest party in the country that plans to leave the Union, in theory, by mid-autumn. Overall, though, the numbers of pro-EU delegates is larger than Eurosceptics. But it is a wake-up call for the mainstream parties across the continent. In Milan, Italy, Amy Kellogg, Fox News.
Late word that Canada is taking a first formal step toward ratifying the new North American Trade Pact. President Trump has been urging Congress to support it, but there's no vote scheduled. Lisa Brady, this is Fox News.
In illness and in wellness, Calvo's Select Care is health care that is there for you. That's why over 80% of the Guam medical community places their trust and insures with us. We offer our members wellness and fitness programs for a healthier lifestyle and provide a comprehensive medical network on and off island to help members from unexpected illnesses. Contact Calvo's Select Care today for more information.
KFC has finally answered the world's most important question. What came first, the chicken or the egg? And the answer is both. Introducing KFC's KFC AM, their new Southern and local-inspired breakfast. AM-loaded platter with chicken fried rice, waffles, and Colonel's chicken congee. KFC also has your all-time favorites, AM chicken and egg wraps, Southern biscuit and sausage sandwich, and hash browns. So for finger-licking good mornings, AM will never be the same at KFC. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Legends aren't born, they are made. And during our Jeep Celebration event at Cars Plus and Mighty, you'll receive up to $6,000 in accessories with the purchase of a new Jeep Wrangler, Motor Trend SUV of the Year. Customize your new Jeep to the way you want it. Or how about a new Jeep Grand Cherokee? Save up to $5,000. Or save up to $7,500 on a new Jeep Compass Sport. It's our Jeep Celebration event going on now at Cars Plus and Mighty. Cars Plus, driven by you. Accessory special cannot be combined with other offers. See dealer for details.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 7 minutes past 6 a.m. this Tuesday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. Retired Airport Police Chief Robert Camacho's Agana Heights home has been broken into again. Camacho said he awoke yesterday morning about 4 a.m. to the sound of his security alarm. It happened so fast, said Camacho. The burglars kicked in his door, stole his wallet, his cell phone, and his daughter's purse, among other things, and then they fled. He told the Guam Daily Post that he's just glad nobody got hurt and his family is safe. A neighbor found some of the stolen items tossed on the side of the road not far from his home, but the money and credit cards in his wallet were gone. It's getting scary, said Camacho. This was the fourth time his home has been broken into. I've seen this increasing every year, he said. We just have to add more security measures. Marlene Risa Iwiley, who is charged with vehicular homicide and the death of 4-year-old Jericho Zion David, has been released on a $50,000 personal recognizance bond. According to the magistrate complaint, she backed out of her driveway on Manga Court in Dededo earlier this month and struck and killed the young boy. She told police she was on her way to work and was reaching to get some betel nut when she felt a bump. She said she didn't know what or who she had hit. The incident was caught on a video surveillance camera. During her magistrate hearing on Sunday, the prosecution recommended the $50,000 bond, saying Iwiley was not a flight risk or a danger to others. Judge Benjamin Sison agreed and released her. Iwiley agreed to reside at another residence away from where the deadly crash occurred. The dead boy's mother, Jenny Davis, told the Post yesterday that she was disappointed and unaware that Iwiley had been released. We'll have more news after this.
Business travel just got easier. Take your data plan with you for only $10 a day to all 17 Data2Go destinations. Never worry about additional data roaming charges when you go where your business needs you. The US, China, Thailand, and so much more. Have the assurance you need to check emails, surf the web, and stay connected. Call 688-2677 today to make sure your account is Data2Go ready. Docomo Pacific. Better together.
Get a half gallon of Minute Maid orange juice for only $1.99 when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy. Get a half gallon of Dairy Gold milk for only $1.99 when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy. Get a $7 meal for only $1.99 when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy.
10 minutes past 6 a.m. here at The Point. At least one member of the Consolidated Commission on Utilities was made aware of prior legal counsel that Guam law prohibits discussion about pay in executive session. When he was chairman of the CCU back in September 2014, current CCU Commissioner Simon Sanchez acknowledged that he exchanged a series of emails with then GWA legal counsel Samuel Taylor, in which Taylor advised against discussing pay raises in executive session. The two were discussing a recommendation for executive session involving the Guam Waterworks Authority. Personnel matters, employee evaluations, and changes in pay were on the agenda. Attorney Taylor advised that an executive session discussion on evaluations would be okay, but as a reminder, wrote Taylor, Guam law prohibits discussions about pay in executive session. He then noted to Sanchez that the section of the law borrowing closed-door discussions on pay adjustments. When asked about the guidance given by Taylor nearly 5 years ago, Sanchez told the Guam Daily Post that he forgot about the emails, but Sanchez says that was not the advice given by current legal counsel about this past November's executive session, during which salaries and bonuses were discussed in violation of Guam's open government law. Attorney General Levin Camacho has since ruled that the pay increases and bonuses are void, and the CCU has ordered the executives to pay them back. Guam Department of Education Superintendent John Fernandez telling the Guam Daily Post yesterday that he has not received any appeals from the students who were suspended last week after they skipped a day of classes on Senior Skip-Out Day, a common practice among graduating seniors in past years on island. Last week's Senior Skip-Out Day led to the suspension of 42 seniors at John F. Kennedy High School just 2 days before classes concluded for the year. Some students have told the Post that they scheduled the traditional prank to take place after all required assignments, tests, and projects had been completed. Others said that their parents were aware, and if disciplinary action were to be taken, consideration should be made for a first offense. Superintendent Fernandez said student discipline is handled at the school level, and any appeal of the matter may be made to the deputy superintendent and then on to the superintendent. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Ray and Mike now with a look at weather.
Let's see what Tuesday morning weather looks like. And by the way, it's Tuesday morning. Just FYI for those of you that lost track of the calendar for this long weekend. Partly sunny with isolated showers. Expect some thunderstorms here today as well. East winds 10 to 15 miles an hour. Expected highs 88 degrees, and overnight lows should be about 79 degrees. Sunset tonight at 6:43, and already some great looking pictures of an intense Tuesday morning sunrise. Broke the plane at 5:53 this morning, and we'll see if I can get some weather radar up here so that Mike can give you an idea of what the near term forecast is going to be looking like. Here's the radar.
Got a bit of a trade wind disturbance coming on through. We're back to typical trade wind pattern now. Got some moisture riding in along the flow, and it's moving over us. Has been moving over us since about yesterday. Kind of arrived during the morning, and then has just been giving us little showers here and there for the last 24 hours or so. That'll continue for the next couple of days, and things look to dry out towards the end of the week. Checking satellite real quick. We see no large-scale weather systems in our area. We do see the trade wind disturbance going on through. That's the clouds moving over Guam now. Blobage down to the southeast, not much of a hassle, nothing to really worry about there. I'm kind of intrigued by the swirl in the clouds. Looks like there's an upper level low pressure system out to the southwest. Now, what this will mean for us actually is that any thunderstorms that do develop will be pretty short-lived because the tops will get sheared off. But they may rain hard and heavy if they do. Really just looking at some of that hit and miss stuff for the rest of the week. And again, rainfall chances will go down as we go into the latter parts.
Early morning showers over central Guam, so there might still be some standing water, wet roads where you happen to be. So just keep an eye out for that if you're on the road already. 6:13 in the morning. That's news and weather together here on The Point, brought to you by Bank Pacific, where others put branches, they place roots.
So what's the deal? Are you still paying for the right to have your checking account at your bank? Well, at Bank Pacific, we think it's our privilege, not our right. That's why we offer My Green Free Checking, where your monthly maintenance checking fees are zero. That's zero. And it comes with a free Visa check card and monthly green e-statements. My Green Free Checking. Bank Pacific today. Because having you as our customer, that's our privilege.
Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots.
Equal housing lender? FDIC. Viva Bank Pacific.
6:14 in the morning. Portions of the Ray Gibson Show brought to you by Cars Plus, with a huge Memorial Day sales event happening now at Cars Plus. On-the-spot financing available and low interest rates. Get the Cars Plus today for brand new Jeeps and Rams or Hyundais. Also being brought to you by Micronesia Renewable Energy. Never been a better time to go solar, especially now because they've got batteries that attach to your solar panels. It's a whole new world, and they'll be happy to take you through it. Guys over at Guam Regional Medical City, the first choice for your specialty care needs, and of course American President Lines, where they are shipping the future.
The Ray Gibson Show. Morning talk that matters. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
To 6:15 and I haven't screwed anything up yet. This is amazing to me. It's a red letter morning. Welcome to the program, and excuse the mess. It is the Ray Gibson Show on 93.3. But if it was just me, this would be a lackluster experience. It would be void of any kind of I don't know, let's say entertainment information. It's more fun because I got guys that hang out with me here in the morning show. Of course, Michael Knight gets the phone when you call, our weather whisperer. It's Duke Sky Talker when he goes into weather whisperer mode.
Got some great pictures on Sunday morning that I shared with our Point WhatsApp. You can check that out. The crepuscular and anti-crepuscular rays.
Oh, I thought,
it was textbook.
So you're talking about this one here, right?
No.
It's the most recent one I got from you.
No, these would be for Sunday.
What day is it?
Today is it's one of those days. So click back about 1, 2, 3, 4.
How about this? Can I just leave that up there for a while
That's
while I look
some
for the
kind
other
of ray.
one?
That's slightly non-crepuscular. By the way.
Let's just watch out, terrorists in the neighborhood here. Okay, wait. So what am I looking for? This is you, right? That's Michael Knight, and this is the oldest one.
Yeah, you got to go up. It's not the most recent.
Okay.
No, those are the anti-crepuscular rays. Those are looking towards the west during the sunrise. The picture before that shows what you saw when you looked at the sunset, and really, it's all one part of the same thing. You have the sun rays going through clouds that are off in the distance, and because of our perspective, they appear to radiate out from the point that we're looking at where the sun is, and then radiating back to a point in the distance when we look to the opposite direction. It's really kind of an optical illusion. The shafts of light are actually straight lines that are going over our heads, but it's all about perspective.
So this
makes it look really cool.
Crepuscular
here, rays, yes.
And these are the
anti-crepuscular.
Crepuscular. Yes. And what's her name?
Donna.
Wait, there's others. I got a couple of other things that have been sent to me. This one here is Pam Duvall's. This is the backyard from over at her place, so you get an idea of what things are like in the morning. And I want to say there were a bunch of guys that sent over stuff over the weekend just because they wanted to show what Memorial Day was looking like. So here is Memorial. It looks like it's just over Aspen Park in that area. And thanks very much for sending me that. Sunrise, sunset, it didn't make any difference. They're both absolutely gorgeous these days.
And in this picture right here, we see more of these rays, these crepuscular rays.
Yeah.
That's a tough word on a Tuesday morning at 6:30.
Yeah. A little too much weekend?
No.
Is it possible something like that? So anyway, that's Mike, the weather whisperer, and like I said, he'll jump to the phone when you call it at 888-8888. No, 888-8255.
There you go.
That's our number. iConnect's number is 888.
They can call 8888 if they want. They got great phone deals over at iConnect.
Yeah, well, there might actually be somebody that answers the phone there when you call it. Anyway, 618, our number 888-8255-888-TALK. You want to be able to get your pictures of sunrise, sunset, whatever, anything goofy you got going on, any cool videos. 988-5874. That's 988-5874. I do have a video. If I don't know if I get around to being able to play it this morning. A video of the dude that in Tumon went up to the bus and started beating up the bus driver. And I don't know what happened to him, whether they found him. I guess they found him and arrested him, but I don't know what the heck happened to the guy because it seems like they let everybody out for the weekend, or so it sounds. 6:18 in the morning. Kevin Kerrigan from the Guam Daily Post, and the appropriate greeting this morning is welcome back.
Hey, nice to be back.
It's a short
quick trip. Yeah.
Korea.
Korea it was, indeed.
What did you eat? Don't tell me that you went all the way to Korea and just didn't indulge in everything that is like super, super Korean.
I don't know what I ate. They just served it. I ate it.
Oh, that's funny. Now there's some. I'm sure you've seen them on Facebook and stuff. But there's some crazy looking people on Facebook that I'm assuming are Korean because I think it's their delicacy. Number one, and number two, it also. Hold on a second. It also shows them, because they got metal sticks, metal chopsticks, right? And about the only place I know that does metal chopsticks is the Koreans. And they're eating things like live baby octopuses. Did you eat any live baby octopuses?
No, I missed out on that.
You'd
one.
know if you did,
yeah,
right? Because
yeah.
they're look like
they'd be squirming.
Yes, and octopusy things.
Yes.
But so you don't
a lot of kimchi type stuff,
No real recollections
of what it was,
Did you try any of the flavored soju that they have there?
We tried just about everything. We ate 3 meals a day. The first time I've done that in years.
That's nice. Well, I'm glad that you had a good time on it. Kevin Kerrigan just coming back from a trip to Korea over the weekend. In fact, literally just landed. The airplane just came in just a little bit ago, and we were originally concerned that he might miss the show here today. But as it turns out, he's good to go. For me, it was a weekend, a long weekend, a bunch of stuff going on, and goofing off with friends over at Crust on Friday. Did some hiking on Saturday. Telefofo Bay, just absolutely gorgeous. Actually, not Telefofo, the Ipan side was where I spent innumerable hours chasing around some sunlight and watching the rainbows fall on and watching kids play in the sand like they've played in the sand for millennia around here. Just gorgeous to watch that kind of thing. Didn't do much by way of anything yesterday. Got together with Mona and her husband and Shelly and RD last night over at their place for a little bit of a Memorial Day kind of a impromptu get together, which was terrific because otherwise I would have stayed in the house and continued to binge on a television. I mentioned it slightly Friday when we were together, and it might be near on to it's one of two things. It's either the most brilliant piece of television programming I've ever watched, or it's complete and total junk. But it's somewhere. It's hard for me to define, and so I'll turn you. If you've got HBO, if you haven't canceled your HBO because Game of Thrones is done, and you're wondering, well, gee, what else is here that I might be able to watch? Should be another episode of Chernobyl. I'll catch that a little bit later on today. But tomorrow, if you're looking for something way off the beaten path, Letterkenny, Letterkenn, I think it's Y. And it's a story of a small town in Ontario, about 5,000 people in it, and you've got, as we do here, an incredible variety of human wildlife in the place. You've got your hicks, you've got your hockey athletes, you got your meth heads, you got your uber religious, and everybody across the broad sexual range in here as well. It's colorful language, if you will, and made even more colorful because in Canada they speak English, but it's not the same one that you and I speak.
No, and they put a in between like every sentence.
All of the aboot. Yeah. They don't lean on that too much, but the writing is extremely crisp and it's extremely clever. And so I woke up yesterday because it was Monday morning, and it's virtually every morning. Woke up at 4 and hit the button on the machine and decided to turn it off completely because it was Monday and I didn't have to come in here to do anything. And I tried to go back to sleep. As I was struggling, screw your eyeballs shut. I'm going to go back to sleep. And it didn't work, so I turned on the television and started with the binge that went on almost completely uninterrupted until about 3 o'clock in the afternoon when I decided I really need to get some kind of productive today. Something needs to get done. Anyway, 6:23. Letterkenny is the name of the television show, and you're going to watch this and go, what is going on in your brain, Ray? If this is what had you binging all weekend long, there might be something that, I don't know, a psychologist, a therapist might be able to help get you through. 6:23 in the morning, and we'll take a look at and see who's playing with us on Facebook Live now.
Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You wanna be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You wanna be where everybody knows your name.
Let me see. I got John Ray Titano taking advantage of the fact that Ishmael's off island and coming in first. I got James Howard at number 2. Gwen Timinglu. Ishmael finally chimes in, at least on my clock, as number 4. Nick Perlasky with his Hoik. Nita Mofness with the Valentine's Eyes. I got John Torres, Rudy Magallanes, Nick Perlasky, and already said Nick, right? So Larry. No, Lady D, not Larry. Lady D. Carlos Barreto online as well. Good to see everybody has made it through the weekend for the most part. Dwayne Santos is there. Hafalai, Heather Perez, and Pam Duval, lady from up in the place. Excuses Vortex. Is that where we are? The Excuses Vortex? This is where common sense seems to come to die these days. Mark Mendiola, Rico Blancaflor is online with his good morning wishes to all of us. Dennis Bensour making excuses about his work computers won't load the live stream. Somebody figured out over at your office that you're spending more time with me on Facebook Live than you are actually working. It's time to find a new job. Jeff Pleadwell might be hiring. Lillian Cruz is online. Michael Knight, I know that guy. Richard Leon. Vet Ibanez. Hey, pretty nice to see you online. Somebody invite me to a Rotary meeting. Mers Greeno is there. Lil Cruz says, good Tuesday morning. Ray, Kevin, and Michael. I got Brad Hewitt hanging out. Ken Leon Guerrero, the other Governor Leon Guerrero. I got Bob Lizama, Jane Sasai, Greg Karabrock. What's Richard talking about? Little Lou Leon Guerrero has repeated message on Docomo's channel 116 talking about increased public safety. Well, the rest of us seem to be under constant assault around here. Roland Torres, there's Patty Santiago, Pat and Norma Jean Flores. Landon Nadler's made this his habit now. From the Speaker's office, Chirag Bujwani, looking over. I got a note here from the legislative calendar that Mike printed out for me. It says we're calling the session at 10, but it doesn't look like there's anything else going to be going on, just certificate
Yeah, because at 11
presentations.
o'clock, they're starting to do certificate presentations, resolution presentations during the rest of the day. And
Right.
I just thought it was odd that they were going to have a 1-hour session when there's still so much business that needs to be done.
Yeah. Sure. If there's something that didn't make this, let me know. I'd like to see if we're missing anything over at the legislature. Tony Annette and Pinko Ada. I got Randy Kruger's there. Joe Ed Cruz, Charlene Marchessault, Debbie Wise. And somewhere in here, she says how great it is to have us back on. Lynn Vince, Borja Polino, Andre Bainham. Andre, my friend, what hell are you raising these days? You know what? I'd be curious to find out what your position, Andre, would be on those kids from John F. Kennedy. And if you haven't heard the story, Kevin was talking about it in the headlines a couple of seconds ago. There's Debbie Wise saying, good morning, Ray and Kevin and Mike. Beautiful weekend for relaxing and reflection. Glad to see and hear you all again. And Rod Rose Greeno's online as well. Nice to have all of us back together again after, for some of us, a long weekend. I'd reached out to somebody yesterday when I was in that kind of, well, I could watch another 3 or 4 hours worth of Letterkenny, or I can call a couple of friends and see what they're up to. And I beeped one of them, and I'm like, hey, what doing? What's up? And she comes back to me. She says, I'm working. Oops. Never mind. Talk to you. Have a good time at your work job place. What kind of slave driver making you come in on a Monday? 3-day weekend holiday. Well, I suppose there's some of that. You know who I'm glad was working yesterday? Was the fire department and the police department. Some busy days. I went out to run and get some supplies just for a couple of minutes yesterday about 2 o'clock and went up Route 8, and over by Roots there were 2 police officers, and it looked like it's hard to tell sometimes. It's hard to tell whether they were putting somebody into the SWAT car or taking him out. It was just that kind of a split-second moment before my attention was distracted by the street lights and something else going on down the street. Big fire up behind what was the old PCC, the old, it is Feathers and Fins right now, but on the top of the cliff on top of that, there was a container of some kind that looked like it caught fire. And so Route 8, rather busy yesterday. So glad to hear the guys from the fire department and the police department were taking care of things yesterday. At least in that neck of the woods. Other places, and I suppose, you want to talk about your riff-worthy things here. It's front page of today's Guam Daily Post. Homeowner reports 4th break-in. And I first heard about this yesterday. I was cruising around on yesterday or day before, cruising around on Facebook, and it's Robert Camacho. I know Robert Camacho. Robert Camacho has taken some very, very good pictures of me. But in this case, it is kind of a sad story because Robert Camacho lamenting the fact that he'd been broken into again. But this is no ordinary guy. It's not any ordinary other Camacho like we've got around town. This guy used to be the chief of the airport police department. If the chief of an airport police department is lamenting that he's probably got to get more security gear at the house, and lamenting because it seems to be getting scary out there, well, wow, where's that leave the rest of us? You know, I was thinking about it yesterday. As I was looking at the cops and this pullover that they did over at Roots, wondering, is it possible that maybe this is the guy? Maybe they found the guy that was responsible for breaking into to Bob's place. I don't know. I'll see what I can find out. But yeah, it's getting to that point, isn't it, where you feel like, wow, if this guy is not safe, if this guy is not insulated from the Sakis out here in Meth Island, then you know, if we can't. If not him, then, you know, what are we going to do to protect ourselves from these lunkheads?
I know this is something the police have asked him, and you know me, I'm always looking at the conspiratorial side of things, but this sounds, again, like an inside job. Someone was able to get in, get past a security system. They knew how long it would delay, and they knew exactly where his wallet was and other things of value. In just a few seconds' time,
do you think maybe it was
somebody knew? Somebody knew where that stuff was. It's somebody he knows. He needs to stay close to his circle and find out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's an interesting view on it. I don't know. I think there's just a lot of people that go in and very, very quickly determine where the valuables are.
If everything was sitting close together in one spot, yes, that's possible.
Let's find him, see what he's got to say about it. Yeah, and Debbie reminding me, he's also used to be the director of the Department of Corrections. So are we at that point? I know I am, where the couple of things that I do before I go to sleep at night is make sure I got the glass of water over here, just in case I wake up with a dry throat in the middle of the night, and make sure that the coffee is set and ready to go for the morning, and make sure that there is a loaded pistol within arm's reach.
Do you put like a napkin over your glass?
No.
You should. Yeah, because little dust and things will float into it.
Did we have this conversation about spiders jumping into people's mouths while they're sleeping? 888-8255. Commissioner Roy Gamboa, how'd you do with the Mango Festival? James Howard says that's no Saki. Also agrees it might have been some kind of an inside job. Hi, Jackie Cabrera. Good to have you there. Ralph Alexander O'Connor saying, half a day from Tacoma, Washington. Huh. I spent a little bit of time. Was one of my Good Samaritan things. There's a girl living out in Spanaway right now, and over the weekend she was feeling mahaling for home and was asking for Facebook friends to post some pictures of Guam so she could get that feeling up in Spanaway that she was near to home, and so I sent her a picture of the view that I had down in Ipen Telefofo, and just absolutely gorgeous. Couple of likes on that. Hopefully you do the same thing, Ralph. If you ever want something like that, just let me know. Everybody around here be more than happy to ping you with some great pictures of Guam. Karina Rose Faring is online. So is Ed Massey. Good to see. Apparently, we've got everybody online. Tell you what, let's get caught up with some headlines. We'll wrap ourselves around some news here and see if that gives us some stuff to talk about on the other side of all of that. It's time for headlines from the Guam Daily Post. Here's Kevin Kerrigan.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. And the headlines for the Guam Daily Post this morning: a United Airlines flight returned to Honolulu on Sunday morning after passengers say one of its engines caught fire. KHON-TV in Honolulu reporting that 142 passengers on board the early morning flight, which was headed to Majuro, the capital of the Marshall Islands. It was a 5-hour flight over open water. The pilot announced that one of the compressors of the engine failed and the plane was returning to Honolulu. United issued a release saying the flight number 132 had to go back because of mechanical issue with one of the engines. The plane landed safely without injury. Starting this week, official enumerators will interview households in all villages for the 2019 Household Income Expenditure Survey. The survey is being conducted by the University of Guam Cooperative Extension, the Guam Department of Labor, and the Guam Bureau of Statistics. The survey workers will wear official UOG safety vests and will carry a picture ID. They're scheduled to visit about 2,500 randomly selected households over the next 4 months. Participation is voluntary. The interview includes questions about expenses over the past 2 weeks. The information will be kept confidential. The Household Income Expenditure Survey is one of the most reliable economic data tools for rebasing the island's consumer price index. Attorney General Levin Camacho yesterday on Memorial Day and 51 other attorney generals calling for student loan relief for veterans who became totally and permanently disabled in connection with military service. In their letter to the Secretary of Education, Betsy DeVos, the Attorney Generals noted that the U.S. Department of Education identified more than 42,000 veterans as eligible for student loan relief due to service-related total and permanent disabilities. To properly honor our military service members, Attorney General Camacho stated in a release, we must do everything we can to take care of our veterans. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
It's 6:34. Remember that number I gave you earlier that I got wrong? Okay, I'm going to give it to you the right way this time. The number for iConnect is 888-8888. Call them up, and you ought to be able to start calling, I don't know, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, and somebody may answer the telephone, get you some ideas on what you can do with your internet, your push-to-talk, and your mobile telecommunications plans for 2019.
When your family needs medical care, how often do you find the need to visit multiple clinics? When a child has a serious ailment, do you find yourself meeting a medical provider only to learn you must go somewhere else for testing? At the FHP Health Center, you can find multiple specialties and testing services under one roof. And if your family needs urgent care, FHP is there for you with convenient weekday, evening, and weekend hours. Voted the island's best clinic in Pika's Best 2 years in a row. FHP, our island, your clinic. Learn more at fhpguam.com.
Is it traffic time? Let me see. Is everybody rushing to get to work this morning? Just jump on the road and see what's going to be happening out there. Let me just see if I can get the gizmo all fired up this morning. Let me press on that button, and then, I see it now. But I don't see too much by way of traffic. There's cars on the road, but it doesn't look like anybody is doing anything crazy this morning. Southbound Marine Corps Drive, you'll get hit in some of the usual spots where the intersections are, but otherwise it's smooth going all the way into the downtown Tamuning area, into Agana, all the way south into Sumai. Don't see anything in front of Navy Hospital right now. Don't see anything crowding up over at Anderson Air Force Base. 8, 10, and 16, running clear this morning. 16 and intersection to 10 should be good. Nothing major in front of 10 and 15 right now. 4 is clear all the way into the downtown Gutnya area. So if you're getting on the road right now, enjoy the extra time, enjoy the ride. 6:36 right now, traffic on the point.
If you're driving, chances are you'll need gas soon. And by the growl in your tummy, a trip to the grocery store too. But don't just buy gas and groceries without getting double miles. Instead, apply for the new United credit card from First Hawaiian Bank and start earning double miles towards your next trip. Gas, groceries, getaway. With the new United credit card, apply at FHB.com. First Hawaiian Bank, member FDIC. Equal housing lender. Additional terms, conditions, and restrictions apply.
It's the Ray Gibson Show. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
Lady D reporting wet roads up in the Jigo area. Good morning, Ruthie Sakur. I got Vicky Schragi there, Dave Torrey, and Vivian Cunningham. Nice to have you all online and aboard for the program today. Now, I could spend a crazy amount of time talking about, just any number of disappointments that we got here. Like I said, Bob Camacho, Army veteran and veteran of the Airport Police and the Department of Corrections, lamenting that he had, was Memorial Day plans absolutely ruined because of a break-in. And I wonder who it was. Is it possible it was somebody with some kind of inside information? I don't know. We'll see what we can find out about this as the morning continues. But when somebody that ought to be locked and loaded as much as this guy is and up to speed on what it is that you've got to look out for, ways to deter people from wanting to break into your home and steal your junk, when he is not safe. What does that say about the rest of us and our capabilities of being safe? So, do what you got to do. Neighborhood watch. Band together with your friends. Surveillance systems on the house. Really, really good alarm systems with really loud alarms so your neighbors know what the heck is going on. Same thing over at the car. And just kind of watch out for everybody because I don't know. At the end of all of this, it will come down to, and we've seen this kind of thing happen before, just a bunch of meth heads, just a bunch of tweakers. Guys that, I got to get a fix, amount of money. There's a house over there, quick break in, snatch and grab, and then roll out. I've kind of seen this familiar MO. Of what we're going to find. I can almost predict where it'll go next. So what they had was they came in, got the stuff, found whatever cash they were able to get there on their hands, and then ditched the rest of the stuff. So the good news is it doesn't sound like anybody's going to have to go out there and get new library cards or driver's licenses or registrations or concealed carry permits. It looks like all of the important cards were kept. Credit cards, those are gone. Any of the cash that was in there, that was gone. And the credit cards is easy. You just, it's unfortunate that you got to take the steps, but, you call up the banks, you cancel the cards, and then you go to the bank later on and get some cash because it'll take a couple of days to get the replacement credit cards to you, although I've found that they work pretty quick when it comes to things like this. It is possible that somewhere along the way, somebody has got some surveillance of the vehicle. We'll be able to identify the type of the vehicle involved. We'll be able to, make and model and all of that stuff, and maybe even get a license plate number. And then when they go and find out what the license plate is going to say, oh, yeah, we got a license plate number. It's an open and shut case. They'll go and find the owner of the license plate, and he'll say, oh, yeah, that was stolen off my car a couple of weeks ago. Because that's the thing. These guys they've gotten really, really good at it. And there's at least once a week a story about somebody that is busted driving around with a license plate that don't belong to them, don't belong on their car. And then, if they do manage to find the individual or individuals responsible for this heist over the weekend, it'll probably end up being somebody that's got a long, long history with the criminal justice system. Yeah, and maybe, I'll bet you, I'll eat a bug if it doesn't turn out to be a felony on felony release. It'll probably be somebody that has already gone through the Swiss cheese holes over at the court, got themselves out, and promised the judge, Your Honor, I promise I'll be good from now on. I'll go to church every Sunday, and I'll get a haircut, and I'll help old ladies cross the street. But, you know what happens the second they walk out? There it is. There's my buddies. There's my bros. Let's go hang out. Get in some kind of trouble. So I bet you that's what we're going to see in this particular case. There's so much more going. And this is just the first and second page of today's Guam Daily Post. So we got that story about my buddy Bob on the top, and then there is the story. And honestly, I don't know how I feel about this story. So sometimes this is one of the challenges. You wake up in the morning and you got 4 hours of talk radio in front of you, and you start looking around at headlines going, all right, I have to have an opinion on this. And so there's a story on page 2, and I think there was another one, a companion story in Sunday's paper as well. If it wasn't Sunday, there was Saturday's paper as well. And this one talking about John Fernandez, who says so far he has not yet got any appeals on the suspension of 42 John F. Kennedy seniors, 42 of a bunch of seniors that enjoyed the senior skip out. So it's such a great story. It's such a great story, if you ask me. Here it is, the seniors, 3 and 4 years of studying over at John F. Kennedy High School. Some of them even members of the National Honor Society. And they go out on a senior skip-out day. They said, well, my parents knew where I was going. And we waited until we had all of our assignments and all of the things that we needed to take care of at school, and our homework was all turned in, and the books are turned in, and the cafeteria keys. We did, and then we could enjoy senior skip out without having to worry about missing any tests or roll calls in any of the classes. Whoa, not so fast. There's an allusion here in the story about whether there was possible involvement of the Guam Police Department about these students, 70 or so of them from John F. Kennedy, that skipped out. Like I said, parents knew, and it's, quote, tradition, legend of John F. Kennedy High School. They've been doing that since before I was a graduate. So how much trouble could you possibly get into for something like that? And apparently you can get in a lot of trouble. A suspension for at least 42 of them and a handful of National Honor Society students. And apparently, according to them, this is the first time they ever broke any rules. In the history of, we worked really, really hard and we studied really, really hard and we broke the rules. And the National Honor Society people said, give me your pins. No sash. We're not going to let you walk with the sash. That is an interesting story. And like I said, I'm not sure how I feel about it because it sounds like these were the good kids at Kennedy, right? And going out there on a senior skip out that their parents were down for, right? Just how much trouble could they get in? But they broke a rule. So I'm the guy that says stand on the enforcement of all of the rules and regulations. We have to send clear messages to everybody that we've got these rules. This is what these rules are for. And as you know, you break the rule and you're going to have to suffer the consequences. That's life, Kimosabe. Grim as it sounds, that's the way the world, that's the way the cookie crumbles, and that's the way the world turns. On the other hand, I can think about my own life and a time when I was a senior at Father Duenas, and we had a senior camp out, which was originally sanctioned by the school until they found a list of drugs and the names of the prominent children of prominent people in the community that were supposed to be bringing drugs and alcohol in this camp out, and they canceled it. I wasn't at school that day, thank God, and they came to me and said, what are we going to do? I said, well, you got a permission slip from your mom, right? I got one from mine. How about you? Your dad signed off on that? To a man, they all said, yeah, our parents have already signed off on it. And I said, well, then it's our camp out. Forget the school. School didn't see it the same way, and they were that close to kicking us out until my mom got in the middle of it and said, you know, I trust my kids with your kids, and if he was going to be rolling around in the boondocks with guys that he grew up with, I don't have a problem with it. And so they put us on, I don't know, a month worth of detention, and we were able to graduate. But it was one of those things. I knew I was stepping out of line, and I was down for whatever punishment that I was able to get. But these guys, I guess for so many years, somebody had looked the other way on senior skip day, and they weren't expecting to get in trouble on what was a traditional day away from school. So like I said, not quite sure how I feel about it. Is there room around here for leniency? And am I the guy that should say that there's room for leniency, especially when we're talking about a time where I'm worried that judges are letting too many of these rapists and drug dealers out the door without so much as a slap on the wrist. 6:46 in the morning. Old Tom, I see you there. We'll get to you in just a second. I did want to spend a minute with Maria Pangilinan talking about a piece of legislation. I remember when it came out a few years ago thinking, well, this is interesting. And that is if I were to go and renew my driver's license or whatever, I would be able to put a tick mark that says, yes, I'd like to register to vote in the election. And I thought it had already been put in place. And I thought it was already there in the systems, but I guess they just got around to it. Maria Pangilinan from the Election Commission on the line. Good morning, Maria.
Half a day, Ray Gibson.
Man, I miss talking to you. When's the next election?
2020, August, sir. Last Saturday in August.
Did Mary Torres already put in her paperwork?
Nobody did yet, sir.
Let me just stir that pot a little bit more. Yeah, so Mary Torres and who? I'm hearing Jim Espeldon or Jim Moylan. What are you hearing?
That's 2022.
It's not that far away.
Well, okay.
Just saying.
No one has put in their papers yet.
Just you know, it's you know the campaign started the day after the last one, so that's the way it works. Anyway, 6:47. So on the motor, what do they call it? Motor voter bill turned into law. What was the slowdown there?
So it was enacted in 2015.
Okay.
And we were waiting for DMV to become Real ID compliant. In the meantime, when we started it back in 2015, what we did is we just trained the staff at DMV to issue or to execute regular affidavits of registration until such time that they can accommodate the new form and doing it until they can do the new form. So, you know, that was a hard thing for them to fill out that long form and then the affidavit of registration, when in fact the law was requiring that it would be one form. And so that's where we're at right now. It's one form. It's on the same application for driver's license or to renew your driver's license. There's a little spot about an inch long about whether you want to update your registration, you don't want to register, or you want to register to vote.
Are we sure now? Are steps being taken? I'm sure it's one of these things where you kind of make it a voluntary affidavit on your own. But are there steps being taken to ensure that the people that are registering to vote as they get their driver's licenses are legally allowed to vote on Guam and in our elections?
And that's why being Real ID compliant was
critical,
important. Yes, because then they will validate. They will be able to validate whether they're U.S. citizens or not. And also on the form itself, there's the on the application for driver's license. We made sure that they signed that statement that says, "I swear that that everything here is true."
Yeah, we trust everybody.
And that's what we have also with the affidavit of registration, voter registration. That's the same requirement. That's the same law requirement.
Right. Well, my preference is a little bit of a paper trail, but I get it. I understand. 10 away from the top of the hour. So until my understanding now, based on the story I read, is that there are still some connection issues. You know, we're talking about the ancient 19 forgotten computer systems over at the Department of Revenue and Taxation that don't necessarily talk to pretty much any other computer in the world. So it's not as though they can just shoot you a database, right? So somebody's got to go out there a couple of times a week and manually copy the information?
Yes, for now. And Ray Gibson, it's better than that. I think we should be there soon enough, and we're anxious to get there so that it can be truly electronic, even behind the voters' experience. Right now, almost everything is driven by manpower.
Now, does this takes place at both of the Rev Tax locations? Do you have to send somebody to Rev Tax in Harmon and then another Rev Tax in Agana?
Yes.
Sounds expensive.
Yes, we do.
Can't they? Yeah. Can't they just bundle it up for you in like a database program?
Like we call a data dump.
Yeah, Excel or something, and then just like email it to you. Can they just WhatsApp you the information? Because it's not like sounds expensive.
No, they can't email it to us, and they have to encrypt it, or there's some security issues that need to take place, that need to be addressed. But so that's what we need to do, is make sure that the electronic connection is secure. And so with all the requirements for cybersecurity, that just comes into play as we begin to truly connect electronically.
All right. So when I get my new driver's license, my Real ID compliant driver's license, it will identify me. Obviously, it will identify where I live, and then ask me if I want to register. Then that data will somehow be sent to you either in a manual or prospectively electronic format. And then you'll be able to put me on the registration rules. But, you know, I have not yet changed my registration from Barrigada, and maybe I want to continue to vote in Barrigada. So in this new world order, it will recognize that I'm an MTM resident and force me to vote over at San Miguel?
Yes, and we will send you a letter.
But I like to vote in Barrigada.
The law says Mr. Ray Gibson, who sleeps in Mangmungtot Tumayti, must vote in Mangmungtot Tumayti.
But over at PC Lujan, the food is better.
The food will get better at MTM
when they know I'm voting there. That's right. Yes. 6:53. See, Maria, that's why I miss talking with you more. We got to drum up more business for the Election Commission so you and I can spend more time on the phone.
Oh, thank you for giving us time to do this, and keep up the good work, because we need to tell everybody to hurry up and get it done.
Get you.
Quite a few are declining to register.
But that means that they would, because they're like me. They want to vote where they are. They don't want to vote in.
Maybe they're the ones that still believe that it's only the voter registry that puts them on the jury list.
Oh yeah. There are a lot of different ways to get the name on the
Yes.
I hear you.
Yes.
Well, there's that consideration as well, and there's nothing we can do about educating people on that. I got to run because it's already 6:55. I'll talk to you pretty soon.
Yes, Jesus Marcy Ray Gibson.
I'll see you pretty soon. Maria Pangolina right there. Isn't that great? There's the executive director of the Guam Election Commission. And we can talk to her before 7 o'clock in the morning about vital and important election commission business. Isn't that nice? This is your taxpayer dollars at work, isn't it? 6:54 in the morning. Tom's on the line. Good morning, sir.
How you doing, my friend?
Oh, man, what a weekend. What'd you do? Don't tell me you just sat around and watched the grass grow.
I went down to the memorial.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, anyway, you know, I know that the students did something wrong, right? But instead of suspending them, they should have had the students that did the wrong thing by skipping out, that do some maintenance around the school to prepare for the new school year, like, you know, water blast around the bleachers at their football field, for example, or trim the tangan-tangan around the perimeter of the football field. Stuff like that, and also police have all the trash around the perimeter of especially the JFK fence.
Yeah.
The JFK fence has got all kinds of trash strung around the chain link fence there. They could have had those students do those things. You know, I wish our administrators can have a little more imagination instead of just suspending those students. Because the students are bored because their school year is almost over, but they're still required to be there because of the law that they have to be there for so many days.
Yeah, that's what they're saying is, you know, what we got. We didn't need to be there. All of the instruction work was done. Our homework that was required was turned in. We've taken all of our tests. It was just, you know, kind of just filling in the last couple of days of school. What we're going to do, you know, everything is going to be AV in the last couple of days of school. You know, they bring in, make us sit through, we'll watch movies. Ooh, look, it's The Lion King.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The students are bored, right? So why don't the administrators just use some imagination and instead of those students being bored, get the whole student body around the campus and do some painting or whatever, you know?
Usually the senior class...
Some paint or something.
Yeah, usually the senior class will provide some kind of gift back to the school on the graduation. But like I said, I mean, there's a part of me that says what we really, really need to be tough on kids and show them that, you know, for every infraction of the rule, there is going to be some kind of penalty for which you have to pay. And if you get in significant enough trouble that leads to your suspension and you're a student at National Honor Society, you know, one of the penalties might be being removed from the rest of the family because you went out there and broke the rules. I mean, there's a part of me that wants to be that tough on these guys, and then there's the other part of me that says, dude, I remember when I was 17 going on 18. I questioned authority, questioned the rules, all kinds of trouble.
Yeah, I wish our school administrators would have a little bit more imagination, you know. Use the students to prepare the school for the next year. All right, my friend. Thank you.
Talk to you pretty soon. Yeah, it's one of those. I'm starting to see a whole lot of people in the community, at least the Guam Daily Post, in their editorial this morning, talking about, or I think it's this morning, somewhere over the weekend, talking about this particular case and how they might need to not necessarily look the other way on this. But you know, kind of recognize it, recognize the kids. It's like where the only people that got in trouble at the school were the brainiacs, right? With the NHS kids in the last couple of days of the school year. They're the only ones that got in trouble. The ones that are still, you know, parking across the street, smoking on the campus, bringing their vape to school, all of that stuff, nobody gives them a hard time. But when we've got 70 kids that got busted on the senior skip out, that's it. Chain gang.
That's because those 70 are the evil geniuses, and you're going to nip it in the bud.
It's possible. maybe somebody looking at the things in those terms. I don't know. I mean, if you're a parent of one of these kids, and I know I'm talking to parents, how would you have gone? How would that have gone down with you? You know, especially if you knew your kids were going to be doing senior skip out. Would you have been all right with them doing that? And number one, and number two, would you appeal to the school? To any suspensions or adverse actions based on that? Like I said, it's legion, it's legend. Man, I remember last day of school one year, I want to say we were juniors, and we had it was a tradition from Father Duenas, last day of school. You caravan, get every car out there, you caravan one unbroken line from Father Duenas Memorial down to Academy of Our Lady of Guam, because that's the way we rolled back then. And I remember one year, I want to say it was MC Cruz that pulled the caravan over, just basically stood in the middle of Route 4 and said, everybody, get on the side of the road. And it was him and 2 or 3 other police officers that were writing out tickets to everybody, including, at the time, the son of the chief of police. You want to talk about getting the book thrown at you twice. Wasn't pretty. But hey, kids on Guam, 1978. 6:59 and change. Good times, baby. Good times. 6:59 and change. The radio station KUSG. Got your headlines coming up from Fox News Live. We'll find out what they're talking about Memorial Day stateside. Kevin Kerrigan with big stories here next.
Their sacrifice is not forgotten. I'm Lisa Brady. Fox News.
This is the day that makes possible all other American days.
Vice President Mike Pence, after laying a wreath at the Tomb of the Unknowns in Arlington National Cemetery, paying tribute to the nation's war dead by reading letters written during wars by service members who did not make it home.
He said, I do believe that basic principles are enough for a man to die for. We are here because we actually believe that our country is good enough to fight for and, if necessary, to die for.
President Trump will speak later today from a naval base outside Tokyo as he wraps up a state visit to Japan. Among the many tributes around the country, a somber reading of names at the Vietnam Wall in D.C., where 9 service members previously unaccounted for are now among the more than 58,000 names etched. Sandbagging and evacuations in parts of Arkansas, where forecasters say unprecedented flooding is possible along the Arkansas River, still rising as floodwaters from recent storms flow downstream.
Here in the Fort Smith area, businesses are underwater, cars have been submerged, and it's become a situation of risk management, trying to assess when and where to release water along failing levees.
Fox's Matt Finn. Upstream around Tulsa, Oklahoma, the Keystone Dam is spilling about 300,000 cubic feet of water per second in an effort to keep the dam functional. And the Tulsa mayor says the World War II-era levee system is working for now. Meantime, the Oklahoma governor, Kevin Stitt, getting a first-hand look at tornado damage in the town of El Reno, where 2 people were killed late Saturday night.
The damage to the vehicles, you know, the 2x4s that are driven through different places. The whole roof's gone. I mean, it's just unbelievable anybody could survive.
In addition to the deaths, more than a dozen people remain hospitalized. Another storm system is expected to move into the Central Plains tomorrow. This is Fox News.
KFC has finally answered the world's most important question. What came first, the chicken or the egg? And the answer is both. Introducing KFC's KFC AM, their new Southern and local inspired breakfast. AM loaded platter with chicken fried rice, waffles, and Colonel's chicken congee. KFC also has your all-time favorites, AM chicken and egg wraps, Southern biscuit and sausage sandwich, and hash browns. So for finger-licking good mornings, AM will never be the same at KFC. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
We know too well the inconvenience of not having power after a storm. You worry about food in the freezer going bad. Nights get hot. It's hard finding comfort when going to sleep. These are realities. But with solar and battery storage from Micronesia Renewable Energy, these realities can be a thing of the past. The solar works during the day and the batteries power your home at night. Call 632-2613 to see how solar plus battery storage can make life a little more convenient. MRE, the smarter choice.
A 5-year-old girl remains missing in Utah from a city north of Ogden. Her uncle suspected of involvement.
We're working several leads that have come forward from our citizenry, including possible sightings of Alex Whipple on Saturday. that have been very useful and helpful in our time frame.
Logan Police Captain Tyson Budge says Whipple, the uncle, showed up at the family's home Friday night. The next morning, he and the girl were gone. Whipple is in custody, but police say he is not cooperating. Amid heightened tensions in the Middle East, Syrian state TV reporting one soldier killed in an Israeli attack. Israel says it did fire into Syria, but that it was responding to anti-aircraft fire from Syria on one of its planes, conducting a routine flight in Israeli airspace. An iconic athlete wants the public to know he needed a lifeline.
In a post to social media Sunday, Michael Phelps gave a new look into his past struggle with anxiety and depression. The 23-time Olympic gold medalist swimmer who first went public with his battle in 2017, writing, quote, "I struggled with anxiety and depression and questioned whether or not I wanted to be alive anymore. It was when I hit this low that I decided to reach out and ask for the help of a licensed therapist. This decision ultimately helped save my life. You don't have to wait for things," end quote. His opening up came in conjunction with another tweet announcing that he would be partnering with Talkspace for Mental Health Awareness Month to let you know that getting help is a sign of strength, not weakness. Matt Napolitano, Fox News.
He played Major League Baseball for 22 seasons, but one mistake became infamous.
Little roller up along first, behind the bag, it gets through Buckner. Here comes Knight, and the Mets win it.
That was Game 6 of the 1986 World Series when Bill Buckner and the Red Sox went on to lose in Game 7 to the Mets. Bill Buckner's family says he died early today, surrounded by family after battling dementia, adding he fought with courage and grit as he did all things in life. He was 69. Fox News.
Whether you're going grocery shopping, taking the kids to the mall, or going to work, you need a reliable car that can take you where you need to go. A reliable car also needs reliable insurance. Let Nanbo Insurance make your auto insurance easy and uncomplicated. With Nanbo, you can also save big when you bundle up and insure your car, home, motorcycle, or business. Enjoy great savings up to 50%. Visit nanbo.com or call 477-9754 for more details. Here at APL, our core values give the company its heart and soul. Whether it's connecting your business with our global network through our newly enhanced service or investing our efforts into giving back to the community, APL is committed to serving you. We humbly honor the opportunity to find innovative solutions for you and your business. To learn more about our enhanced service, call 588-4651 or visit www.apl.com/Guam for more details.
Get a half gallon of Minute Maid orange juice for only $1.99 when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy. Get a half gallon of Dairy Gold milk for only $1.99 when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy. Get a $7 meal for only $1.99 when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 7 minutes past 7 a.m. this Tuesday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. At least one member of the Consolidated Commission on Utilities was made aware by prior legal counsel that Guam law prohibits discussion about pay in executive session. When he was chairman of the CCU back in September 2014, current CCU Commissioner Simon Sanchez acknowledged that he exchanged a series of emails with the Guam Waterworks Authority legal counsel, Samuel Taylor, in which Taylor advised against discussing pay raises in executive session. Employee evaluations and changes in pay were on the agenda for that meeting. In his email, Attorney Taylor advised discussion of evaluations in executive session would be okay, but as a reminder, Taylor wrote Sanchez, Guam law prohibits discussions about pay in executive session. Taylor then noted that the section of the law barring closed-door discussions on those pay adjustments. When asked about the guidance given by Taylor nearly 5 years ago, Sanchez told the Guam Daily Post he forgot about the emails, but Sanchez said that was not the advice given by current legal counsel about this past November's executive session, during which salaries and bonuses were discussed in violation of Guam's open government law. Attorney General Levin Camacho has since ruled that the pay raises and bonuses approved following that November session are void, and the CCU has ordered them paid back. Guam Department of Education Superintendent John Fernandez telling the Guam Daily Post yesterday that he hasn't received any appeals from the students who were suspended last week after they skipped a day of classes on Senior Skip Out Day, a common practice amongst graduating seniors in past years on island. Last week's Senior Skip Out Day led to the suspension of 42 seniors at John F. Kennedy High School just 2 days before classes concluded for the year. Some students have told the Post that they scheduled the traditional prank to take place after all required assignments, tests, and projects had been completed. Others said that their parents were aware, and if disciplinary action were to be taken, consideration should be made for a first offense. Superintendent Fernandez said student discipline is handled at the school level. Appeals can be made to the deputy superintendent and then to the superintendent. We'll have more news after this.
Legends aren't born, they are made. And during our Jeep Celebration event at Cars Plus and Mighty, you'll receive up to $6,000 in accessories with the purchase of a new Jeep Wrangler, Motor Trend SUV of the Year. Customize your new Jeep to the way you want it. Or how about a new Jeep Grand Cherokee? Save up to $5,000. Or save up to $7,500 on a new Jeep Compass Sport. It's our Jeep Celebration event going on now at Cars Plus and Mighty. Cars Plus, driven by you. Accessory special cannot be combined with other offers. See dealer for details.
Business travel just got easier. Take your data plan with you for only $10 a day to all 17 Data2Go destinations. Never worry about additional data roaming charges when you go where your business needs you. The US, China, Thailand, and so much more. Have the assurance you need to check emails, surf the web, and stay connected. Call 688-2677 today to make sure your account is Data2Go ready. Docomo Pacific. Better together.
News time here at The Point is 10 minutes past 7 a.m. A United Airlines flight returned to Honolulu Sunday morning after passengers say one of its engines caught on fire. KHON-TV in Honolulu reporting that 142 passengers were on board the early morning flight, which was headed to Majuro, the capital of the Marshall Islands. It was about a 5-hour flight over open water. A passenger cell phone video of the flight shows a burst of flame coming out of the left side engine. The pilot announced that one of the compressors of the engine had failed and the plane had to return to Honolulu. United issued a release saying that Flight 132 had to go back because of a mechanical issue with one of the engines. The plane landed safely without injury. Starting this week, official enumerators will interview households in all the villages on island for the 2019 Household Income Expenditure Survey. The survey is being conducted by the University of Guam Cooperative Extension along with the Guam Department of Labor and the Guam Bureau of Statistics. The survey workers will wear official UOG safety vests and carry a picture ID. They're scheduled to visit about 2,500 randomly selected households over the island during the next 4 months. The interview includes questions about household expenses over the past 2 weeks. The information will be kept confidential. Participation is voluntary. The survey is one of the most reliable economic data tools for rebasing the Consumer Price Index, measuring inflation, and developing the gross domestic product figure for Guam. The survey is being funded by a grant from the U.S. Department of Interior. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Ray and Mike now with some weather.
Let's see what we got here for you today. Partly sunny with isolated showers and thunderstorms in the forecast. East winds 10 to 15 miles an hour. Highs around 88 degrees and overnight lows are 79 degrees. Sunset tonight will be at 6:43. Michael Knight is going to take a look at the weather radar and explain to you where the thunderstorms are hidden in all of that.
Yeah, well, anywhere you see some yellow, and especially with the orange and the reds, that's going to be a possible thunderstorm. Looks like we got some down to the southeast. Everything else is actually pretty light. Just got some greens and light yellows there, so no big deal. This is all very isolated stuff. Most of it actually down to our south, but we are getting a pretty good dose of showers as we get through the morning drive, and that will be the way things stay probably for the next day or so. As we go through the latter parts of the week, say Thursday, Friday, then we're looking at things drying out just a bit. At satellites view here, we're looking down through the clouds over the entire Earth. Yeah, that's what it is. The funny thing, I've been looking at what I see, maybe upper level low pressure. That doesn't really have any surface bearings for us, except to say that maybe any thunderstorms that do form might be short-lived because the tops will get sheared off. No large-scale weather systems really for us. Even that front that was hanging around up there, you can still see lingering parts of it. The air is actually really dry north of 20 degrees north latitude, but that's not coming this way. Looks like all of that sort of influence has stopped, so we're kind of back to the trade wind stuff, and it'll stay that way. And, of course, where we go from here, well, things start to heat up, and then we got to start keeping our eyes to the east.
Because why?
Because
do we have to look at the east?
It will be that time of year very soon. It's the end of May.
Okay. Let me just process that for a second. Not thrilled about that news, but I understand. 7:13 in the morning, huge Memorial Day sales event going on at Cars Plus. Details coming up.
Let's go for a drive.
Let's take a stroll. Let's gallivant. Let's go cruising.
We all have different ways to describe how we get up and go in our cars. But whatever you may call it, you can do more of it when you save 6% off your fuel purchases at any Shell station when you use your eligible Bank of Guam Visa and MasterCard credit cards. So stop by any Guam or CNMI Shell station and start saving today. Visit bankofguam.com for more information. Terms and conditions apply. Bank of Guam, the People's Bank. Member FDIC.
Well, thanks, Bud. Studio time 7:14 in the morning. The Ray Gibson Show until it's not going to be anymore. Portions brought to you by the guys over at Cars Plus up in Mighty. Need to swing by there in the next couple of days. They've got this massive Memorial Day sales event happening at Cars Plus. On-the-spot financing, low interest rates. Get to Cars Plus today for new Jeep, Rams, or Hyundai automobiles. Also brought to you by American President Lines, where they're shipping the future. Micronesia Renewable Energy says there's never been a better time to go solar. We have achieved what I would like to consider about perfect when it comes to renewable energy in the home. We have solar that can attach to batteries, which means you charge the batteries all day. You're going to be making excess power, right? So you charge the batteries all day long, and then when the sun goes down at night, you don't necessarily have to take all of your power from GPA. You've got some into storage on the batteries, and they're not like iPhone batteries. They will last you a little bit longer. Also brought to you by APL. They're shipping the future. And Guam Regional Medical City, first choice for your specialty care needs.
The Coconut Wireless is back. The Ray Gibson Show. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
Sorry, every once in a while, check on Facebook before I jump back on the air, and I saw this meme here, and it it made me laugh. I ran out of coffee this morning. Tequila seemed a reasonable replacement. Everyone is so pretty today. I love that. Wait a second, I'm going to save that one and on the phone and share it with a couple of friends of mine. Day drinking? What's the problem? Early in the morning? Well, it's happy hour somewhere. There's another picture that somebody had posted up of a couple of cocktail glasses. Or it was a beer glass. I think it was a beer glass in an airport lounge. And the person was asking out loud, you know, is it okay to have cocktails, beers in the airport lounge, even though it's like 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning? And the answer, near as I can tell from all of the responses, my own included, was, as far as I'm concerned, if you are in the airport, if you are in the airport lounge, an airline's airport lounge, as far as I'm concerned, you are now in international waters.
That's right. Yeah, you get to observe all time zones.
Yeah, exactly. You are in all time zones simultaneously. So if you're dying for a cold one and they have it available for you, and even better, if it doesn't cost you anything, then, yeah, you ought to take advantage of the opportunity. 7:17. What, you're just going to get on the airplane and sleep anyway? You're just getting on the airplane. I was talking with a buddy of mine in airline business, talking about some of these long-haul flights. They've got one coming out of Japan somewhere, and the flight attendants love this flight because they say it's the easiest one in the world for them to do, because it's one of these long hauls that you get on in Narita or someplace, and they ain't going to talk to you until you get to the middle of the country, out in Denver or you know, someplace even further, Minneapolis, etc. So the idea is you get on the airplane, and it's a night flight, right? So you get on the airplane, and they say, Mr. Knight, what would you like to eat? And you say, well, I'll have the chicken over here, and then I'll have the fish in that one, and I'll have the steak for the beef stroganoff for breakfast. Ooh, beef stroganoff on Delta Airlines. You remember that? Anyway, Northwest. Sorry, distracted myself. But anyway, so the thing is, everybody gets on the airplane. They've been in the lounge. They've had a couple of drinks, in the first 20 minutes of the flight after the pilot levels things out, and then they crash, go right to sleep, and the flight attendants do nothing more on this long haul, and then walk around and adjust people's blankets all the way through.
Pretty much it, yeah, and smell their stinky breath.
Smells like hot dog water.
The best airline food I ever had?
What's that?
American Airlines. It was a breakfast. It was a hot breakfast called a 3-cheese omelet. They would serve it with little medallion potatoes.
Yeah.
Dude. Oh, that was...
Like I said, Northwest Airlines and a beef stroganoff that they had there. And I don't know why they do that. And I couldn't tell you whether it was a first class or, Section 8 section of the airplane that they served it in. But I remember it being really, really good. Jerry, best airplane food you remember in your whole life? I mean, the one where you actually sat back. You almost thought... Can I order another one? Can I get another batch of this?
Braniff.
Dude, that goes back a ways.
Yeah. Remember they had for about 20 minutes they did a flight from Guam to LA.
I do remember that.
I took one of those. And that was pretty incredible food.
Well, that was a pretty incredible time. There were a lot more airlines flying around here. You could get on a flight from here to someplace on Braniff. You could get on an airplane ride from here to someplace on Pan American Airlines. Yeah. SPIA, sometimes possibly in the air.
Well, SPIA came after you. That's true. SPIA was a funky airline, but I'll tell you, it was fun. It was fun.
Yeah, that was crazy. I remember standing outside waiting to go someplace, and the guy says, "Hold on, I think we sold a couple more tickets. We'll wait for these guys to show up. We'll walk them through customs, get these guys on the airplanes. We're not leaving until we're full. So if you want, but I don't remember it being very, very expensive back in those days to get on the long, even to Hawaii.
Spia?
Yeah, well, any of the airlines. I don't remember them
for
being
years
very
and
expensive.
years, it was one price. If you go back way, way, way back,
The Japan flights.
Well, no. Transworld, TWA, and Pan Am left here an hour apart, 7 o'clock and 8 o'clock, on 707s in those days. So Pan Am brought in the 7-4, and it was $808 round trip to the mainland. $808 round trip to the mainland, both of them. So you want to talk to the gasoline guys charging the same prices?
Same thing.
The same thing with the airlines. Same price.
Wasn't it
Back
for a long
then, though, $808 was some serious coin.
Oh, yeah.
Back then,
I mean, if you look at it in terms of today's prices, you say, wow, it's so much cheaper back then. But, I mean, deadjust everything for inflation. And, yeah, $800 was a lot of money.
Yeah, that Sam's up there, United, saying, we're a bargain. What are you talking about? Those
Exactly.
guys charged those arm and a leg back then.
But now Japan, the Japan flight for a long time was $124.76 or something.
But pocket change, you find it in your sofa. That's enough to get to Japan.
And
but the yen was $360 at the time too. So
Yep. But the thing was, and the hotels were still expensive. It didn't matter what standards you wanted to use; they were still. So the president is supposed to be in DC in Japan now. I guess for part of that handoff with the father and the son. Got the old man abdicating and the son taking over. Anyways, I think that's interesting. I'm not sure if he's going to be coming by here on the way out. Is it possible there's room for some kind of snubbery? I suppose there is. I got to take a quick look at what some of the numbers are before we get into Jerry Roberts. And today's Extra Point, double Jerry Roberts today because it's Tuesday. I'll repeat that for some of you that are going, what did he say? Tuesday? Get out of here. Yeah, really, Tuesday. It is. It's a 4-day work week for a lot of people. S&P 500 closing up last week, 3.82 points, 2,826. The NASDAQ unchanged at 76.37. Dow Jones Industrial Average at 25,585, picked up almost 100 points in late trading, but we'll see what happens over this long weekend. FTSE opens in the green, so does the Nikkei at 65 points higher, 21,182. Hang Seng at 27,288, off by about 65 points. That was Hang Seng. Sorry, Shanghai at 28.92 and the DAX at 12,071. On the commodities, bad news on West Texas, but not by a whole lot. Trading at $58.19. Last time we looked at it this morning, it's $58.38. So they picked up, another 19 cents or something like that in value. $75.09 for a barrel of Tepis crude on Friday, the last time Jerry and you and I took a look at it. Trading today at $72 and a penny. Down. Nice.
Bring those prices down.
Sure. I don't know why. I haven't looked into the markets to see why it's doing that, but happy to take any kind of reduction in the price of tap.
That's a massive drop.
It's huge. We
massive.
ought to be giving it away at the gas stations now.
They should be out there right now lowering those prices.
Just pulling you, stopping you at the car at the intersection saying, come in.
Come in.
Price is so low. Not to be believed. Bitcoin at $8,700. Is that Rudy that's chiming in this morning with the Bitcoin price? We don't generally look at it until it gets to be Thursdays, but what the heck? It's a day that starts with T and ends in Y. Rudy says, yeah, BTC 8,700. Wow. Cody James online. Kutwal Singh is there. Kaz Endo recovering, I hope, from a successful Conquer event that they had up in Saipan. Charlie Laron, Eunice Mendiola is online. I got Henry Gonzalez up in Vegas. Joe Flores. Did I see somewhere that they're going to be opening up like an Amazon center in Vegas? Up around that area. Did I see that over the last couple of days?
An Amazon center?
Yeah, one of their distribution centers.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter what it is. It's an Amazon something.
Amazon
that's like 6,000 jobs, right? 6,000, 8,000 people are going to get a job sorting something or putting stuff in boxes.
That's just to count Bezos' money.
Right? There's 5,000 guys doing that, sure. 7:24, like I said, today is double Jerry Roberts Day. We get him on the air here on the radio station, 93.3 The Point. You'll also find him in the editorial section of today's Guam Daily Post. Help Out Millennial Managers is the title of today's work zone, or something similar to
10
that.
ways.
10 ways. That you can help out millennial managers. So if you've got some new guys, literally new guys, some green guys in your supervisory force, it might be a good topic to review and see if there's ways that you can help them out and get them to productivity a little bit faster. It's 7:24, and right now, time for Jerry Roberts to give you today's Extra Point, brought to you by Guahan Insurance Services and the guys over at First Hawaiian Bank, where it all starts with yes.
Not everybody wants to take the next step in their career. A lot of people are happy to stay right where they are. This episode is not for them. Today, because you do want more, I'm going to give you a 5-step plan to make that happen. It's coming next on the Extra Point.
It's important to have claims process that works for you. At Guahan Insurance Services, we make things simple and convenient. Same door you walk in to purchase your insurance is the same door you open to file your claim. We can't pretend that the car insurance claims process is fun, but we can promise a hassle-free and speedy recovery without any runarounds. For your home, auto, and business insurance, visit us at the Camacho Landmark Center on Marine Corps Drive in Tamuning. Don't forget to like us on Facebook or give us a call at 475-1162 or text 929-SAVE. That's 929-7283.
Travel the world and then some with the 2 million United Mile sweepstakes from First Hawaiian Bank. Enter and you could win the grand prize of 1 million miles or be one of 6 other lucky winners. The world is big. Our prize is bigger. Enter at fhb.com/2 million miles. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited. Sweepstake starts on May 1st and ends June 30th, 2019. Open to legal residents of Guam and CNMI. Ages 18 years or older. Visit 2millionmiles.com for official rules. First Hawaiian Bank. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Some people say you can't make money and live a good life unless you own your own business. That's baloney. I know a lot of people who work for somebody else make high 5 or 6 figures, have a nice home, and are solid financially. Why they work more than 40 hours a week? They have more time to enjoy life than their entrepreneurial counterparts who are pushing 60 to 70 hours or more, totally dialed into every aspect of the company, maybe sweating if they'll make the next payroll. You can do well working for others, but you have to show your stuff. That means investing time and effort into your own career. Are you ready? Here are 5 ways to do that. Number 1, get on the boss's radar screen. Tell him or her you're ready to take on more, that you'd like to move up in the company. Share your career goals and ask if they'll support that by giving you projects or extra work so you can expand your skills and show your value. If it's me, I'd have already scoped out a few possible projects around the company just in case the boss comes up blank. What if your manager has no interest in helping you get more involved? Then I'd ask my boss's boss. If you work in a company of 20 people or more, there ought to be some unfinished or unstarted projects ready for you to take on. Number 2, help coworkers. Lend a hand where you can. You don't want to do somebody else's job, but becoming a go-to person who is always willing to pitch in is a good thing. Just make sure your own work doesn't suffer because you're helping others. Number 3, become an expert. If you are seen as the top person in a particular area, this sets you apart from the crowd. What part of your industry is critical, evolving, and will be important for the long haul? Learn everything you can about it. Set up a Google alert on your industry, or more specifically, this important aspect of your business, and you'll get news and trends set to your inbox daily. Number 4, network and enlist mentors. You'll want to get to know key people in your industry. This includes vendors, customers, and yes, your competitors. If you're young and don't feel comfortable trying to hang out with senior leaders, then connect with the up-and-comers like you. As for mentors, a great source are retirees. They have walked the path ahead of you and will likely be thrilled to share wisdom for the price of a free lunch. As well, schedule short and regular meetings with your boss and turn them into a mentor. If your boss is not the CEO of the company, then go for the top. He or she will definitely be interested in developing new talent. Invite them to lunch and take a journal or a yellow pad with you to write down their ideas. And number 5, you own your career. Read books and take courses that will broaden your knowledge and perspective. Keep pushing to do more. Most people will be happy to just watch you do that. They'll watch you go by. You'll be amazed that as you grow, the field sort of thins out. While you may have strong competitors at the top for high-level jobs, there may not be as many as you think. Fewer people really want to go the extra mile like you will. That's the extra point. Get out there and make something good happen today. For 93.3, The Ray Gibson Show, Guahan Insurance Services, and First Hawaiian Bank. I'm Jerry Roberts.
That's a good one. That's a good one. And a fitting place for us to take an opportunity to say congratulations. You've gotten to the top of the heap, and the folks over at the district court have honored federal prosecutor Fred Black, who has been here prosecuting dirtbags for as long as anybody can remember. Yeah. He has been out there and doing that. The outstanding dedication, ethics, and professionalism in the practice of law has led to Assistant U.S. Attorney Fred Black being given the District Court of Guam's Cristobal Duenas Excellence Award. And the thing is interesting is I think Fred has been in the business since when Cristobal was still wearing the robes. I think they were working together for some of that time. But anyways, I think that's a big deal. Like I said, prosecuting dirtbags around here for a long time. Put some of these guys away, and most recently, and it's a great example of the kind of heart that this guy has got, was actually on the side of one of the guys that he was prosecuting because he had turned state's evidence so well and was such a big assistance in getting some new charges laid up against this couple that finally had their case in the States, finally got heard out in California, but he was pushing for some lenient views from the district court judge over there. So that's Fred. Congratulations to Fred. While I got your attention, a couple of free classes that could make you that much richer or keep you out of trouble. Guys over at Guam PTAC have got a couple of classes they want you to take on the end of May 30th, marketing to the federal government. And the pitch is, are you ready to sell to the government? They buy products and services differently than the private sector. Guam PTAC will discuss marketing strategies, essential documents, and how to get your company on the list. Beans, bullets, blankets. That is the spectrum of purchases that they make in the federal government, and plenty more. So there is likely, depending on what your forte is, or a forte that you might like to get into. Just because it's not a business, not in your line right now, doesn't mean it can't be. Great example.
Find your niche.
A great example of that is the guys over at Advanced Management. Right? So they'll take a look at what the opportunities are in the FAR, and might be something in there where they go, well, that's real. That looks like something that we can do. And somebody will say, we don't currently do it. And they said, well, how hard can it be? And so they'll staff up a department that will look at that, and in many cases, win those awards. So smart thinking with the guys over at PTAC. Their telephone number, if you want to get lined up for the class, again, end of May, 735-2596. Now, get on the Department of Labor's website and get some information on on-site consultation fall prevention. OSHA is doing this. I had a safety guy in here, safety inspector, in just last week.
Really?
And I asked him, I said, what is the number one violation that you see? The number one, I don't want to say violation, but number one safety hazard that you see on the job in most places. And he says his answer was, among them, fall prevention. You never know. You might be asking somebody to stand up on something. There's no ladders around. So you put a chair on a desk, whatever. But OSHA has on-site consultations for fall prevention. My guess is this will work in just about any workplace, but especially if you've got warehouses, bucket trucks, guys that go out there. Anybody's got to stand any more than about 2 or 3 feet off the ground should probably have some kind of view on how to make that safe. Next one's going to be, that's the 28th, and then there's disability law in the workplace. This one is a must attend. I would say general manager and above should attend this, so that and anybody that is doing any supervising of employees, because the ADA laws are not the same ADA laws as they were in the 1970s and 1980s. They change, they evolve almost on a daily basis. And your understanding of what reasonable accommodations are and what's covered under the disability laws, I guarantee has changed. It didn't matter when you jumped in. I guarantee it's changed, and there's a chance for you to get some free education from the Department of Labor on this. May the 30th, their website, dol.guam.gov/events. Look at the time, would you? 7:33. That's all the time we got for Jerry Roberts hitting another home run for today, and Kevin Kerrigan's got headlines now from the Guam Daily Post. Good morning, Kev.
Good morning, Ray, and Hafaday, and good morning, Guam. In the headlines from the Guam Daily Post this morning, retired Airport Police Chief Robert Camacho's Agana Heights home has been broken into again. Camacho said he awoke yesterday morning about 4 a.m. to the sound of his security alarm going off. It happened so fast, said Camacho. The burglars kicked in his door and stole his wallet, his cell phone, and his daughter's purse, among other things, and then they fled. He told the Guam Daily Post that he's just glad nobody got hurt and his family is safe. A neighbor found some of the stolen items tossed on the side of the road not far from Camacho's home, but the money and credit cards in his wallet were gone. It's getting scary, said Camacho. This was the 4th time his home has been broken into. I've seen this increasing every year, he said. We just have to add more security measures. Marlene Risa Iwali, who was charged with vehicular homicide in the death of 4-year-old Jeko Sion Davis, has been released on a $50,000 personal recognizance bond. According to the magistrate complaint, Iwali backed out of her home in her driveway on Manga Court in Dededo and struck and killed the young boy earlier this month. She told police she was on her way to work and was reaching to get some betel nut when she felt a bump. She said she didn't know what or who she had hit. The incident was caught on video surveillance during her magistrate hearing on Sunday. The prosecution recommended the $50,000 bond, saying Iwali was not a flight risk or a danger to others. Judge Benjamin Sisson agreed to her release. Iwali agreed to reside at another residence away from where the deadly crash occurred. The dead boy's mother, Jenny Davis, telling the Post yesterday she was disappointed at the release and unaware that Iwali had been freed. Filmmakers under contract with Netflix are currently on Guam shooting a movie called Operation Christmas Drop. The film is being directed by Martin Wood, who's known for directing and producing the Stargate science fiction television series. The cast includes Kate Graham of The Vampire Diaries and Alexander Ludwig, who played the character Kato in The Hunger Games. The pilot, according to Netflix, centers on a congressional aide who is gathering evidence to support closing a tropical U.S. Air Force base. A statement from Netflix says that the set will be closed and the cast, crew, and filmmakers will not be available for interviews until just prior to the release of the film, which is set for sometime next year. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
You talk about that movie that's being shot here. You missed the most important actress in the whole thing, Virginia Madsen.
Well, there you go.
Do you know who she is, right?
I do not.
What's the show that you'll remember her from? What's the one they did the thing about wine with a few years ago? It'll come to me. I'm actually looking at the IMDb page, and I got to go back a few years to get this. But she was on the TV series Monk. I'm gonna dig around on this just a little bit more. They're talking about Sideways, which is a movie I don't know that I've ever seen. But if you go back to one of her earlier movies in the 1980s, Virginia Madsen, if you're listening, I fell in love with you when in the movie Electric Dreams. You familiar with it, right? The guy, Moles, has a hard time living life, so he buys a computer, spills champagne in the computer comes to life, it becomes a sentient creature, and Virginia Madsen's character moves in to the apartment above all of this. Anyway, so it's a great romantic love story. Love is Love, Culture Club, that's a big song in there. Together in Electric Dreams, Philip Oakey and Giorgio Moroder in there, and the great Virginia Madsen in that movie.
The music, I remember. The movie, not so much.
Not so much. Yeah, it's kind of hard to find out there. But there was another one, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary. It's the one, Candyman. She was in the horror flick Candyman. Do you remember that one? Not at all.
Yeah.
Fine. 7:38 in the morning, and that's iConnect time. If you see her around, just give them my number, right? Tell them, just hit them up on the digits here. 738, let me give you these digits. 888-8888 is the telephone number to call the guys over at iConnect, and they'll tell you about great cell plans that they've got mobile. They come with the internet. You want push-to-talk, which is a combination of like smartphones and two-way radio? Got to try it out today at iConnect.
The Crazy 19 menu at King's Restaurants is back with all your breakfast, lunch, and dinner favorites. Fun pancakes, tasty sandwiches, and the local dishes you crave for a limited time on the Crazy 19 menu at King's.
The sky's the limit with Bank Pacific's secure MyCloud banking. You can access your account 24/7 with your smartphone, your computer, your iPad, or any other tablet. You can pay bills, set up alerts, check your balances, wire transfer money. It's never been easier. Enroll online or come on in and see one of our friendly staff. Digital Life, Digital Solutions. Bank Pacific.
Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots.
Equal housing lender, member FDIC. Viva Bank Pacific.
What time is it? 7:39. Is it time for me to take another look at the traffic gizmo and see if anything's working? You know what? I don't know if there's. Wow. I was going to say, over by the schools, it should be lightening up, but no, that's not the case. Route 1, Route 3, most of Route 3 is running slow here towards the Micronesia Mall and that particular intersection. Don't see too much around Dededo and Jico that's going to be slowing you down. Central to Mooning, Upper to Mooning, not so bad. Busy at the intersections as usual. 8, 10, and 16, pretty. 15 and 10, not so much. 4 and 10. Southbound, believe it or not, is trickier than northbound through there. But once you're headed north past that intersection, should be a clear spot a clear shot into the downtown Hagutnia area. Might see a little bit of traffic southbound Marine Corps Drive at the intersection of 1 and 8 and the intersection of 4 and 1 also looking a little bit busy through there. I wonder if a Korean driver got stuck at that intersection. Navy hospitals, people starting to get to work, and 1 and 2 looking pretty clean right now. 20 away from 8 o'clock in the morning. That's right now traffic here on The Point.
Hey, it's Mom. Somebody forgot to thaw the chicken, so meet us at Chili's for 2 for $25. Oh, and congratulate your sister for making the basketball team. She's thrilled. Love you. See you at Chili's.
Enjoy 2 full meal combos for $25. An appetizer, 2 mouth-watering entrees like our crispy chicken breast, smoked barbecue quarter leg, or smoked jalapeno cheddar sausage. Served with corn on the cob and french fries. 2 bold combos for $25. A full-on meal deal available nightly for a limited time. Together, we Chili's.
So I'm not the only one that remembers that name. Yeah, Tammy Addis's Electric Dreams. I missed that movie. One of my favorites. And I owned the VHS tape of it. She's beautiful in that movie. See, I'm not the only one saying so. I'm not the only one. What was the wine movie? Was her and that guy that yells a lot in the wine movie. Tammy is there. Somebody will figure it out. Alfredo Mendoza, Lynn Perez is online. Are you back in town? Shelly, big sister Shelly's in town. Ken LG with a story that I just started looking for when Kevin touched on the Virginia Madsen movie. Apparently, what's it going to be about? The Christmas Drop, Operation Christmas Drop, or something like that?
Odd name, isn't it?
You
think it sounds like
Guam.
a happy movie? But
we're the center of everything odd. Operation Christmas Drop, the movie being directed by Martin Wood, who is known for directing and producing the Stargate science fiction TV series. Stargate, the movie, awesome. Still watch it. But it doesn't. What's the plot? Does it say? The plot, according to Netflix, centers on a congressional aide who is gathering evidence to support closing a tropical U.S. Air Force base and warms to its generous captain. Oh, it's a love story shot right here on Guam. Huh? That'll be all right. Who knows? Maybe we could turn this into some kind of marketing advantage for the island. I'm already seeing a lot of Love Island things out there. That people are taking their pictures against. I think that's very, very cool and something I support. I support it more than Meth Island. I don't know. Maybe we ought to put up. That's what we'll do to catch all the drug jugheads, right? We'll get a big. We got the GUAM signs. We got one over at where's it? Plaza de España. We've got another one over at Epal Beach. Let's put one somewhere that just says meth, M-E-T-H, right? M-E-T. We'll put meth out there somewhere, and we'll get all these toothless drug jugheads out there taking their selfies, right? Post them up on whatever the meth version of Facebook is, and then we can. And then I don't know, I'm just thinking that there's got to be some way we can take that, give it to the police department, and they can go and find all these people that are conducting all these break-ins, stuff like that. Bob Camacho lamenting over another break-in over at his place. And like I said, when you got somebody, Army vet, right? Also Dep Corps boss vet. Also a chief of the airport police vet saying, hey, dude, things are getting kind of scary out there. Hey? If this guy is apprehensive about closing his eyes before he goes to sleep, what more for the rest of us? Face Melt. The meth Facebook is called Face Melt. Thanks very much, Mike. I appreciate your contributions here this morning. So we got that. We got that's one of the big stories. And then you got that story over at John F. Kennedy High School. A bunch of kids go out on senior skip out, which they've been doing at that school and all kinds of other ones for I can't remember. I mean, since Jesus was in first grade, they've been doing stuff like that. But this time around, they got in trouble. They got pinched by the man. Come back to school the next day, and they said, oh, you guys were on the skip out. We did roll call, and you weren't here. We heard you went on the skip out. So this is the punishment. You are now being suspended. Those of you that are members of the National Office Supply need to go back to the NHS place and give them back your sashola and your buttons and whatever it is that says that you are a member of the National Honor Society. Hey, listen, for some kids, it might mean the difference between them getting into the school that they wanted and the one that was second place. Tricky at this point. So I don't know what's going to happen. Apparently, there have not been any appeals filed into this yet, and we are down on the last few days of school virtually everywhere. This one from the Guam Daily Post, last day of class today, BP Carbazito, D.L. Perez, Ordat Pago, Telefofo Elementary, Agata Johnson Middle School, Simon Sanchez High School, not the CCU guy, and J.P. Torres Success Academy. I'm told schools with last day of classes tomorrow are Harry S. Truman, Inarahan Elementary, Lyndon B. Johnson Elementary. There's Marshall Sablan, Maurizo Marchers, Price Elementary, Inarahan Middle School, Louis Antalan, Ocean View, and Ukadu High are all going to be closing down. So we got an idea of where things are going to shut down today and tomorrow. 746. What are you going to do with the kids? What are you doing with the kids? Buddy of mine posting on Facebook, oh, my God, did not realize that some of these summer camp things that they've got going on, very convenient. There's some sports camps. There's some where they can continue their learning. There's like a swimming camp. When me and big sister Shelley were little kids, we used to go to the USO, and we'd learn to swim. And if you'd been doing it for a while, they stick you in life-saving classes. And there were all kinds of arts and crafts and things that would take place. You get a lunch and a nap, and then there's more swimming. And at the end of the day, everybody gathers around in the north parking area over at the old USO, and we'd sing folk songs. So I think I sang Kumbaya for the very first time in my life at USO once upon a time back in the 19. But I have no idea. No idea whatsoever what that costed my mother. As far as I was concerned, it might not have cost anything. It might have been one of those deals where you make a donation to the Red Cross and your kid gets to go to school there. And I in my mind, it was all summer long. But you look at some of these plans now that they've got, some of these school summer programs, $175 a week. $175 a week. $200 a week. What happens when it's a short week like this? I mean, is it pro rata? Not usually. $175 per week. And how long is the class going? That's why they do them in sessions, right? So it'll be 170. It'd be like 3 sessions at $175 a week, or 3-week sessions at $175 per. And that's the way it goes. That's the way the cookie crumbles on that one. So yeah, it's summertime and the living is easy, as the song goes. But when it comes to being able to figure out what you're going to be doing with the kids, and I know you're going, oh, yeah, but my kid's, she's 16. You want her left by herself at the house these days with all these tweakers running around? That's the thing, right? I mean, even as safe as you can make your house with alarm systems and video systems and anymore, it seems to me, if you want to maintain a ring of security around your house, move next to the police department. Maybe that's the ticket. We'll just decentralize the police department. We'll have one on every street corner, and within every 500-yard radius, we'll have a police officer living there in that street. Maybe that'll help make things a little bit safer. I don't know. Yeah, it got me thinking about different ways that we used to do this back in the day. And there was a time, and this might morph into a conversation about how to keep Guam's streets safer. There was a time, I'm trying to remember who was the chief of police when they were doing it, but the guy had an excess of junk police cars. They just didn't work anymore. There are no more abused automobiles on Guam than ambulances and police cars, and we're lousy at maintaining them. So eventually something important would burn out, like, I don't know, transmission or the engine, and they'd sit in a parking lot in idle. Anyway, so I remember this one police chief said, well, there's still value to them. Let's take them out and take them to intersections where we have problems with people running the intersection or speeding through the intersection or speeding in general. And we'll just park the car in a conspicuous place. And pretty soon, the traffic starts to slow down there. People begin to follow the roads. They actually stop for the light. Right up until they find out, until it becomes clear that there's nobody in that police car. There hasn't been anybody in that police car the 2 or 3 times that they'd passed by. But still, and all, in those first couple of days, you get people that still have a healthy respect for the law. They'll slow down. They'll stop where they're supposed to, and everything is right with the world. So I wonder if we could take that same mentality and take a couple of these vehicles and park them in high-crime areas. We know there's no cops in them. We'll put some good tint on the windows so nobody can tell. And we'll move them on a fairly regular basis. We'll make that's somebody's job, is to go and tow this thing from one place to another. But maybe, park one of those things like, and I hate to profile, but let's do it. Let's try it. Let's try it out over at like the Hemlani Apartments. Let's try it over where Mike lives. Park one of these cop vehicles over there and see if just a little bit, if for just a few days, things simmer down a little bit and get quiet. Now, I know what's going to happen. You got to be very, very careful. You got to be Johnny on the spot here, because what will happen is that there are going to be people. There are going to be people that will recognize fairly quickly that it's a dodge, it's a ruse, it's a fake. And then you know what's going to happen? They'll steal the parts from the police car.
Thank you. I was going to say, in my part of town, the wheels will be off of that thing in about 5 minutes.
Exactly. And it doesn't take them very long to do it. Didn't take him so long to do it. 888-825-5888-TALK is the telephone number on the radio station. My name's Ray. Great to have you along for the ride here this morning. And most of the ride so far is just going to be kind of riffing on what I see and some of the thoughts that you might have about what's going on here. Nick Perlowski writing in, put a mannequin in there as a dummy, or somebody from the legislature. Hey, we have a list. If you're looking, We've got remind me to talk about new bill from the legislature. Cosendo says, I'll give parents a break. Send their kids to me. I'll have them work on projects. I won't pay them, but I'll keep them busy and out of trouble. I've got, you know what, I got a friend, you and I got a mutual friend that does that. And last couple of vacations that they've come out to Guam, his son has come to work at the radio station. Same thing, right? He's got an interest in audio and music production. So, you know, there's work for him to do around here, but that's part of it. I don't have to pay him. They don't have to pay me, but he's supervised for the most part for the day and is out of trouble. And he's at exactly the right age, and he's a smart kid too. So he's exactly the right age to get into some serious trouble. Bianca Borja there. Good morning. She says, good morning, Ray. Well, good morning, Bianca. Nice to see your smiling face online this morning. Ed and Karen Untalan. Shelley says, senior skip consequences are silly and too militant. Considering all the nonsense the kids got to deal with or did deal with, skip day is justified. Why are they so matapang? There it is. That's our favorite word for situations like this, where they're they're throwing the book at the people that they could catch. But virtually all of the rest of this 2018-2019 school year, how many other dummies over at the school? I mean, real problem kids. They're smoking on campus, vaping on campus, just getting into every kind of trouble. And nothing's going to happen to them. They're going to graduate. They'll get to walk. But you got these kids, went out on a senior skip, some of them NHS kids, and now they've lost their NHS-ness. They have to undo the tap on the shoulder. Ay-ya-day. Or is it Iya-day? It's a conversation going on about that. Irene Alcantara's online. Phil Schrage joining us this morning on the stream. Nice to see you there as well. 888-8255 is the phone number. I don't know what's going to end up happening at the end of the day with all of that. I would hope maybe that somebody kind of looks back and says, you know, this is not the appropriate way for these guys to end their school year. They do need to be punished. They did break a rule. And like I said, when it was me, Father Duena's class in 1980, they were going to kick us out. They were going to. We went on our senior camp out without the permission of the school one night, and when it finally got back to Brother Gregory and the rest of the administration, they had virtually half of the entire class of 1980 ready to be expelled in the last quarter of our senior year. Fortunately, cooler heads prevailed, but the deal was, okay, they can stay here, but they're still in trouble. They still broke a rule. And they're still going to get punished. And anybody familiar with Father Duenas knows about a phrase called justice under God. And we were all made to do our justice under God until the end of the school year. 7:55 in the morning. So I don't know. There are going to be people on either side of that particular story. What will be most interesting to me is, did any of those seniors bring a gun to school? That's another point. So we got Southern High a couple of weeks ago. John Fernandez last week said that we were very close to some kind of conclusion of the investigation and the public naming and shaming of whoever it was that brought the gun to school. So a gun was brought onto the campus at Southern High by a staffer of the school. In violation of posted laws and I think for a lot of people, common sense, right? Don't need to bring the gun to school, do you? Anyway, so the car gets broken into. 17-year-old kid at the school called in and busted for stealing the gun, which caused a shutdown of the school, lockdown of the school. There's 17-year-old kid running around with a gun. So he's in trouble. Same kind of trouble Ray was. He got the gun grab, and there's no license and all of that stuff. Anyway, so he's going to be treated like an adult in the courts when this finally makes its way through. And we still, to this day, do not have official confirmation of the guy that brought the gun to school. There has not been any arrest. We know that he's been placed on some kind of administrative leave, I don't know what it is. And I'm still trying to figure out who they're protecting. Every time I've asked Paul Tapau about it, quote, still under investigation, can't bring up any names of suspects, personnel matter, yada, 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 BS.
Kid ought to hire Fisher. I mean, he was at a school. How of a more teachable moment is that?
Kid ought to, yeah,
See?
Good point.
Hey, Fisher could get Ray
nice
off on
connection.
it. The kid could get off on it, too.
Nice connection that you're making. He got Ray off. Couldn't save him the election, but it's like that. As far as we know, this kid's not doing anything. So at least Nick is making that connection in his head. We're gonna bust it. We're caning these kids from John F. Kennedy because of going out on a senior skip out tradition, Legion legend. But here we go. We got an actual staffer brought a gun to school, broke the law, and nothing. Shh. Don't say anything. If nobody in the media talks about it, maybe it'll be one of those stories that just goes away kind of on its own, and we won't ever have to be accountable or hold anybody else accountable. It'll be perfect, but it's not going to happen because I swear to God I'm going to bring it up every single day until we know who it is. Over the weekend, we did get finally the identity and an arrest of a girl that now has been charged with... what was she charged? A vehicular homicide in the case involving the death of a 4-year-old kid. Distracted driving is a killer. Ladies and gentlemen, distracted driving is a killer here. You can see it in this case. There's no excuse. Phones, makeup, food, messing around with the radio, getting your Bluetooth in line, doing all of that stuff. All things that can be done while the car is safely stopped, right? But that's not the way we are, man. We're this go-go society, and we got to get from point A to point B fast because there might be a car that's going slower than us, and I need to get in front of him. There might be a bus, and he's going to stop, and he's going to put that stop sign. I got to get in front of that. And then you hear the noise. There's the phone going off. And I'm not going to say that I'm good here. I am absolutely the worst. I am a distracted driver. I admit it, and I do everything I can once I'm in the car to put the phone away. I don't need to mess with the phone. I got the radio station right where I want it when I get in the car, and I might change it at the intersection, might pop on the Bluetooth at the intersection, but once that light goes red, I'm moving. Sorry, green. I'm moving. Moving when it's red too in my head. But you get it, right? I mean, and I think for the most part, there are people out there that have sorted out, how we can live in a constantly on and changing social media society versus the ones that can't go any more than a couple of minutes without looking at their phone. I'm that guy, too. Anybody seen me at the beach lately knows it. 7:59 and change. Anyway, we got that. Plenty of other stuff to talk about. 888-825-5888-TALK is the telephone number. Hey, beat me on the WhatsApp, 988-5874. Yeah, I said beat me. I'm trying to bring that back along with the word jiffy. So if you would, find a picture or something somewhere in your phone and beep it to me. 988-5874. That's 988-5874. Fox News Live is coming up next. Blake Watson, Michael Knight, and I get to pretend to talk about sports for a little bit. Kevin Kerrigan from the Guam Daily Post will bring you up to date on all the big Guam stories in seconds. Stick around, Brown.
Heading home, I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. Lots of company on the highways and in the air as we close out this Memorial Day weekend.
AAA was predicting a record weekend of travel, so traffic galore all weekend long. Take a look at it. They're expecting, when all the planes, trains, and automobiles have been counted, some 43 million people have been out on the road this weekend or in the airs, on the open seas, the rails, taking trips of 50 miles or more. That's a 3.6% increase. When you take a look at the breakdown, the prediction was some 38 million people on the road, which is why there's so much traffic all weekend long. 3.2 million in the air and about 2 million combined when you look at buses, trains, or cruises.
Robert Gray with the Fox Business Network in Los Angeles. This morning, Vice President Mike Pence laid a wreath at the Tomb of the Unknowns at Arlington National Cemetery to mark Memorial Day, explaining the symbolism of the day.
Americans gather to honor the lives and deeds of America's greatest heroes.
Pence stepped in for President Trump, who was in Japan on a state visit. He and the First Lady paid respects to the fallen soldiers last week before they departed. The search continues for a missing 5-year-old girl in Utah. Fox's Gernal Scott has more live.
Lisa, Elizabeth Shelley has been missing since last Saturday morning. Police are suspecting she may have been with her uncle, Alex Whipple. He's in custody but said to be non-cooperative. That's why Logan, Utah Police Captain Tyson Budge is asking residents to be observant.
Check their yards, check your buildings, check your outhouses, outbuildings. containers, anything, garbage cans.
If people have surveillance footage, police are asking for that to be checked as well. Searches are scheduled to be called off at dusk and resumed tomorrow morning, Lisa.
Grinnell, Canada, taking a first step toward ratifying the new trade agreement with the U.S. The foreign minister presenting a motion to the House of Commons, clearing the way for the presentation of a bill. This is Fox News.
Okay, I think it's coming up soon.
Yeah, we're in Route 1 and near the airport intersection, right?
There, see it? What's the promo code? Look for the promo code.
Check out the Vantage Digital Billboard and reap the rewards. Catch the promo code on the screen and get $10 off your Stroll ride by inputting the promo code on the Stroll Guam app.
Did you see it?
You got it. I got it. You just focus on driving.
Take advantage today and take a look at Vantage Advertising's digital billboard located on Route 1 at the airport intersection.
Business travel just got easier. Take your data plan with you for only $10 a day to all 17 data-to-go destinations. Never worry about additional data roaming charges when you go where your business needs you. The US, China, Thailand, and so much more. Have the assurance you need to check emails, surf the web, and stay connected. Call 688-2677 today to make sure your account is data-to-go ready. Docomo Pacific. Better together.
Surveying the damage, Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt says he spoke with President Trump after tornadoes ravaged the area.
His heart's with us. He said, whatever you need in Oklahoma, we're here. Tell the Oklahomans that the federal government's here to help them. And he just kept saying he's just, devastated.
2 people were killed by a tornado Saturday night in El Reno, Oklahoma. The state of Oklahoma might become the first to go to trial against a drug company over the nation's opioid crisis.
States suing drug makers for allegedly overproducing opioids and incentivizing their prescribing often end up settling out of court. But Oklahoma's lawsuit against Johnson & Johnson is set to begin trial today in Norman. Such a suit could make public untold documents and testimony suggesting the company knew and ignored risks to patients offered addictive opioids. It could reshape the way similar lawsuits filed by state, local, and even tribal governments proceed. The drug makers deny wrongdoing. Eben Brown, Fox News.
Populist parties see increased support after the latest round of elections for the European Union's parliament.
Nationalist and far-right parties topping votes in Italy, Britain, France and Poland. This in elections across the EU for the European Parliament, although the surge in anti-establishment support was not as large as some had predicted, and pro-European parties remain in control. There was also a spike in support for environment-focused Green parties, and many traditional centre-right and centre-left outfits took a kicking. Amid much debate about the future of the EU, turnout hit a 20-year high. In London, Simon Owen, Fox News.
A recording studio in Miami owned by Gloria and Emilio Estefan damaged after police say a dump truck hit an SUV, then crashed into the building. 4 people were injured. 2 were taken to the hospital. I'm Lisa Lacera. This is Fox News.
Legends aren't born, they are made. And during our Jeep Celebration event at Cars Plus and Mighty, you'll receive up to $6,000 in accessories with the purchase of a new Jeep Wrangler, Motor Trend SUV of the Year. Customize your new Jeep to the way you want it. Or how about a new Jeep Grand Cherokee? Save up to $5,000. Or save up to $7,500 on a new Jeep Compass Sport. It's our Jeep Celebration event going on now at Cars Plus and Mighty. Cars Plus, driven by you. Accessory special cannot be combined with other offers. See dealer for details.
KFC has finally answered the world's most important question. What came first, the chicken or the egg? And the answer is both. Introducing KFC's KFC AM, their new Southern and local-inspired breakfast. AM-loaded platter with chicken fried rice, waffles, and Colonel's chicken congee. KFC also has your all-time favorites, AM chicken and egg wraps, Southern biscuit and sausage sandwich, and hash browns. So for finger-licking good mornings, AM will never be the same at KFC. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
When your family needs medical care, how often do you find the need to visit multiple clinics? When a child has a serious ailment, do you find yourself meeting a medical provider only to learn you must go somewhere else for testing? At the FHP Health Center, you can find multiple specialties and testing services under one roof. And if your family needs urgent care, FHP is there for you with convenient weekday, evening, and weekend hours. Voted the island's best clinic and Pika's best 2 years in a row. FHP, our island, your clinic. Learn more at FHPGuam.com.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 7 minutes past 8 a.m. this Tuesday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. Retired Airport Police Chief Robert Camacho's Ganya Heights home has been broken into again. Camacho said he awoke yesterday morning about 4 a.m. to the sound of his security alarm going off. It happened so fast, said Camacho. The burglars kicked in his door, stole his wallet, his cell phone, and his daughter's purse, among other items, and then they fled. He told the Guam Daily Post that he's just glad that nobody got hurt and his family is safe. A neighbor found some of the stolen items tossed on the side of the road not far from the home, but the money and credit cards in Camacho's wallet were gone. It's getting scary, said Camacho. This was the fourth time his home has been broken into. He said he's seen this increasing every year. We just have to add more security, said Camacho. Marlene Risa E. Wiley, who is charged with vehicular homicide in the death of 4-year-old Jericho Zion David, has been released on a $50,000 personal recognizance bond. According to the magistrate complaint, E. Wiley backed out of her driveway on Manga Court in Dededo earlier this month and struck and killed the young boy. She told police she was on her way to work and was reaching to get some betel nut when she felt a bump. She said she didn't know what or who she had hit. The incident was caught on videotape. During her magistrate hearing on Sunday, the prosecution recommended the $50,000 bond, saying E. Wiley was not a flight risk or a danger to others. Judge Benjamin Sisson agreed and granted her release. E. Wiley also agreed to reside at another residence away from where the deadly crash occurred. The dead boy's mother, Jenny Davis, telling the Post yesterday she was disappointed and unaware that E. Wiley had been released. We'll have more news after this.
If you're driving, chances are you'll need gas soon. And by the growl in your tummy, a trip to the grocery store too. But don't just buy gas and groceries without getting double miles. Instead, apply for the new United credit card from First Hawaiian Bank and start earning double miles towards your next trip. Gas, groceries, getaway. With the new United credit card, apply at FHB.com. First Hawaiian Bank, member FDIC. Equal housing lender. Additional terms, conditions, and restrictions apply.
Legends aren't born, they are made. And during our Jeep Celebration event at Cars Plus and Mighty, you'll receive up to $6,000 in accessories with the purchase of a new Jeep Wrangler Motor Trend SUV of the Year. Customize your new Jeep to the way you want it. Or how about a new Jeep Grand Cherokee? Save up to $5,000. Or save up to $7,500 on a new Jeep Compass Sport. It's our Jeep Celebration event going on now at Cars Plus and Mighty. Cars Plus, driven by you. Accessory special cannot be combined with other offers. See dealer for details.
10 minutes past 8 a.m. here at The Point. Guam Department of Education Superintendent John Fernandez telling the Guam Daily Post yesterday that he has not received any appeals from the students who were suspended last week after they skipped a day of classes on Senior Skip Out Day, a common practice amongst graduating seniors in recent years here on island. Last week's Senior Skip Out Day led to the suspension of 42 seniors at JFK High School just 2 days before classes concluded for the year. Some students have told the Post that they scheduled the traditional prank to take place after all required assignments, tests, and projects had been completed. Others told the Post their parents were aware, and if disciplinary action were to be taken, consideration should be given to first offenses. Superintendent Fernandez said student discipline is handled at the school level, and any appeal of the matter may be made to the deputy superintendent and then on to the superintendent. A United Airlines flight had to return to Honolulu Sunday morning after passengers say one of its engines caught fire. KHON-TV in Honolulu reporting that 142 passengers on board the early morning flight, which was headed to Majuro, the capital of the Marshall Islands. It's about a 5-hour flight over open water. The pilot announced that one of the compressors of the engine failed and the plane had to return to Honolulu. A video of the incident captured by a passenger shows flames coming out of the left side engine. United Airlines issued a release saying that Flight 132 had to return because of a mechanical issue with one of those engines. The plane landed safely without injury. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Ray and Mike now with a look at weather.
It says here partly sunny with isolated showers and thunderstorms. Winds from the east up to about 15 miles an hour. Daytime highs 88 degrees. Cooler at night, 79 degrees or so. Wait a second. 79 degrees is not cool. There's nothing cool about that at all, come to think of it. We've had a little bit of mugginess over us over the last couple of days as well. So unless you actually had some breeze. I had some friends that were camping out in Epan on Saturday night to overnight through the Sunday. And when I got there, I said, how was it? And they said, it was great right up until about 10 o'clock. And the wind stopped. Yeah, it was just brutal. It was actually better sleeping outside the tents than it was on the inside of the tents. I get that. 8:12 in the morning, and we'll take a look at the weather radar now, give you an idea of what weather conditions are going to be like in the very, very near term, next hour or so.
And as silly as it sounds, I used to do a lot of camping in Hawaii, and you'd have the same problem. I used to carry one of those little battery-operated fans.
That
just
help?
for that sort of thing. Absolutely.
Well, just
yeah.
get,
it's all you need.
the
Just a
air
little
moving.
something. Yeah, that's all you need. Just a little something, and you're in a tent, so it'll move the air just.
There's a sound too. I've found that because otherwise it's a little bit too quiet for me. I mean, I'm born and raised in a world of 60 cycles, and it takes me a second to get used to the quiet. But it's nice at the beach. You can hear the waves lapping up on the shore. But still, no, it's nice to have just something just making a kind of white noise buzz in the background, keep the mosquitoes drowned out. So what's that weather pattern going to be?
Well, we're looking at radar right now. We see a pretty good trade wind disturbance sliding on through. Most of it to the south, but we are getting a few showers through here, and that will be the case throughout the rest of today and most of tomorrow. Weather Service saying things will probably dry up just a little bit for Thursday and Friday as we return to a more dry trade wind pattern. But there's still, it won't be dry like it was before, though. I think we're out of that super dry late winter, early spring type weather that we're accustomed to seeing in April and May, and now we're getting more into the seasonal type of trade wind activity where we get the showers in through here. Just no major disturbances. Looking at satellite, there really are no major weather systems downstream. We got a few showers and stuff around. The front's still kind of hanging out up to the north, but it's petering out, and we're kind of settling into that summer pattern. And of course, as I mentioned last hour, when that happens,
don't say the T word.
No, I just say we have to just start kind of keeping our attention further to the east.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Not happy to hear it, but as I said, and I don't know, we're on the other side of the 21st of May. So in my mind, typhoon season's over. Oops, said the T word. But in my mind, it's finished. I know that there is the possibility, and we get them all the time, and we're heading into a time of the year where there's where the chances of their development are a lot higher than they are at other times, like February. But still, in all, for me, it's once because that was my typhoon. Typhoon Pamela was mine, and so you get past May the 21st, and you go, okay, all right, maybe we're going to make it out of this year, all right.
Yeah, but that's just because
I know it's wishful.
May really isn't even the start of the tropical weather season
I know.
yet.
Yeah, but that year, I mean, May had already been, I want to say it was the 21st, or was it there had been already a bunch of flare-ups prior to that one coming in.
That's what happened.
So so there was a lot of activity prior to that, and then, we just happened to have the one that turned into the monster that it did. Quarter after 8 o'clock in the morning, that's News and Weather Together, brought to you by all of us here at 93.3 Da Point.
In illness and in wellness, Calvo's Select Care is health care that is there for you. That's why over 80% of the Guam medical community places their trust and insures with us. We offer our members wellness and fitness programs for a healthier lifestyle and provide a comprehensive medical network on and off island to help members from unexpected illnesses. Contact Calvo's Select Care today for more information.
It's a quarter after 8 o'clock in the morning. The Ray Gibson Show brought to you by the guys over at American President Lines. APL is shipping the future, Micronesia Renewable Energy, and there's never been a better time to go solar. They now have batteries that can attach to your solar gizmo, making it that much more efficient and making it so that any excess that you would normally send to GPA, you can send it to your batteries. And that way, when the sun goes down and the clouds pass over, the batteries will take up the slack for you. Check them for details on that. Also being brought to you by Guam Regional Medical City, the first choice for your specialty care needs. Guys over at just take a quick break and then we'll tell you about the rest of them.
It's important to have claims process that works for you. At Guahan Insurance Services, we make things simple and convenient. Same door you walk in to purchase your insurance is the same door you open to file your claim. We can't pretend that the car insurance claims process is fun, but we can promise a hassle-free and speedy recovery without any runarounds. For your home, auto, and business insurance, visit us at the Camacho Landmark Center on Marine Corps Drive in Tamuning. Don't forget to like us on Facebook or give us a call at 475-1162 or text 929-SAVE. That's 929-7283.
I got you. All right, let me finish the list. Guys over at Security Title, Ron and Kim, want to make sure there's no black marks on the title, and they will do the incredible title search work to make sure that that everything is free and clear and the transaction can move forward. Greg and the team over at Take Care and Cars Plus, where they're in the midst of the huge Memorial Day sales event going on now until the 31st. If you've been waiting to upgrade your vehicle, get to Cars Plus today because they've got it.
News to fill your mind. Talk to get it out. The Ray Gibson Show.
Studio time, 8:17, and Mango Festival. Yeah, it was a big deal over the weekend. A lot of people moving down south, and I don't know how large the field was, but it seems to me that everybody I know was in Molesso for the Cocos Crossing. Blake Watson, what was your time? You did the 10K, the back and forth. What did?
Yeah.
Did you shave 15 minutes off your time too?
I did. I flew through the water. I think it was because I think it's because I had the cap on, so so no hair resistance.
So I was talking to a guy, and not to take anything away from anybody that did the crossing, because I didn't do it.
Me neither.
I didn't do it. If you did it, wonderful, good for you. I'm proud of you, and I hope that all of your dreams come true. But I did talk to one guy and said, was the water better for you this year in terms of the current? And he says, oh, yeah. He says it felt, and I don't know whether he did both legs or one leg out, but he said it felt easier to swim this time than it did in previous years. So he thinks that maybe that's one of the reasons why there's so many people that have shaved off a lot. Combination of the training and the more permissive sea conditions.
Yeah, the sea conditions. Yeah, that sounds very interesting. I mean, I guess it's possible, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, actually, that would be a tidal thing with the shallow bay between there and Cocos Island.
Tidal with a D.
Tidal, that's
Yep.
right. So because currents exist outside of that realm. But yeah, if you get a high tide coming in or a tide going out, it would make a difference.
I don't know, not a swimmer, and didn't attend, but it was a question that I had in my head, and at least one guy that I talked to thought that there was a little bit more push in the water that he was swimming in, making it a little bit easier for him to finish with a better time than he had in the last year. So good on you, good for that. I'm still nursing my rolled ankle.
Oh,
still, it's a week. The swelling hasn't gone down all that much, and so I've decided that I decided early Saturday morning. I was up early enough to get in the car, drive up to Anderson Air Force Base, and run the 13.8 miler. Some people on their Strava, I saw 14. Good job. I don't know why it said 14. I don't know where you picked up the other 0.2 of a mile. But way to go for you. So I didn't do the half marathon this weekend. I figured my doctor will thank me for it. My doctor will say, "Good boy, you didn't go out and do a 13 mile and make your ankle actually worse."
Has it gotten better though? I mean, do you think it's healing? I guess is what I'm trying to say.
So that's why I thought about it over the weekend and sent a lot of emails, a lot of WhatsApps to Vince Akimoto.
Yeah.
Because they got it. There's the same guy that was doing footwork. In fact, he's still there up at GRMC, but he's also does hours over at American Medical Clinic as well. So they're going to set me up with a thing. I still have to pay. But it's nice to know that there's a guy that might be able to look at that rolled ankle and tell me whether it's going to be another week from running or is this going to be all summer. No running.
No, it probably won't be that. But do you have a different scenario here? Because you actually had someone roll up on your ankle. So it's not a self-inflicted wound, which means there may be some other things wrong in there that wouldn't normally be wrong in just a regular
running roll. Yeah. So there's that. And that's the other thing is I didn't do it. It's not me. I didn't overtrain. I didn't step in a puddle. I didn't get it from my fast hiking. None of that stuff. It just, a couple of people rolled into me.
Quite frankly, you may have the bones of the ankle. There are many. You might have a small break or dislocation in there that you just, you ordinarily wouldn't know about, and it would be the freakiest thing in the world, but it could happen, and what would do would prolong that healing process.
So again, it's not always about me until it's about me, but in this case, it's about me. Congratulations to the guys that were able to get that going, and a ton of end of the year stuff, I guess, still going on.
Yeah, there's still
I didn't say Sports with Blake yet.
That's what you didn't say it for the last 3 shows, so I thought I'd just go ahead.
Threw me off.
I don't know. I think before we go much further, Blake, we really kind of need to talk about the greats that have left us. Just recently, we got news Bart Starr passed away.
Yes.
And he's gone, and just coming over the airwaves recently, Bill Buckner also just passed away. Bill Buckner played for the Boston Red Sox. He never let down. He was never able to beat down the act of letting a ball go between his legs in the World Series that ultimately lost Boston the World Series after they hadn't been there in like 90 years. And, it's just sad, that he passed away of dying from complications of what is it? The
dementia.
Alzheimer's. Yeah,
dementia.
Alzheimer's
Pretty young, too, only 69.
Yeah, that's not that old. But he could never live that down. Every single place he would go. He got to the point to where he just didn't even want to do interviews anymore.
Because they'd start with that.
Yeah, they'd be like, well, how do you feel about that ball between your legs? Yeah, I feel like I lost the World Series.
R. Kelly's going to go next for exactly the same reason.
For what?
R. Kelly?
Yeah.
No, because you do an interview with him, it's always the same question, then he always gets ticked off and storms off.
You said that's the only thing that he was asked about too. He won a batting title in 1980.
He did, yeah.
He was an all-star.
He was.
Played 22 seasons.
Yeah. But that would be the first thing they'd ask him. You go, how do you feel about that ball between your legs?
October 25th, 1986, Shea Stadium. The ball that was that rolled through his legs. It was just a routine grounder.
It really was, and it rolled. He made a rookie mistake, like a Bush League mistake, in that he picked his glove up just a little bit, anticipating a bit of hop, and he didn't.
And that would have broken the curse that they since 1918, because they didn't win until 04, right?
That's right.
Yeah. So they lost the '86 World Series and didn't win from 1918 until 2004.
And everybody really thought that was their best chance because they had a really good team that year.
Clemens, was that Clemens' first year?
Clemens was there, yeah. And
Greenberg.
but you had the Mets, man, and the Mets were just some crazy, freaky, lucky team that year.
They were filled up on cocaine with Darryl Strawberry and Dwight Gooden.
He was handling the hookup.
Hey, they're making a movie that's going to be on Netflix with Virginia Madsen.
Oh, really?
Yep.
What's it about?
It's about Christmas Drop. Operation Christmas Drop is what the movie's going to be called, and it's got Virginia Madsen.
Sounds exciting, huh?
And a couple of people. But it's got somebody who was in Hunger Games and somebody that was in the Vampire Diaries. Kat Graham from the Vampire Diaries.
I don't know either of those people. Does she? I like her from Sideways, though.
I was just looking at. I was trying to remember what the name of the wine movie was that she was in it. As it turns out, it's Sideways. Yeah.
And Sandra Oh. Sandra Oh's also.
Sandra, yeah, one of the first movies that I had seen her in that. So excellent movie, excellent talent. And,
but the only Christmas drop I'm familiar with is this one.
You're such a good producer. You're a great producer. How did I get so lucky? How is that even possible?
You pay me.
Just out there.
Every 2 weeks. There we go. There's your allowance. All right. So you got anything else?
I do.
Is it football time? Can we NFL now?
No. But we can do this, though. The GDOE Public Middle School All-Stars, they won their thriller because we did have the All-Star basketball game for the guys wrap up over the weekend.
Yesterday.
Yeah, kind of to end the IIAG fourth quarter sport calendar, I guess, and kind of the school year. Let's see here. The public school squad trailed the entire game and came from behind to win 55-54. After, let's see here, Hendrix de Fiesta from BMS hit a clutch three-pointer in the final seconds of the game. So he was the all-star of the game from BMS. That was the middle school game. And over in the elite Team Elite over in the high school All-Star game as Tony Kanini dropped a game-high 22 points. He gets our player of the game honors, 100-75 victory over Team Supreme, because that's how they were, All-Star game. They were divided Elite and Supreme. Like I said, Elite, they were wearing the gold. They dropped Supreme 100-75. Anybody else? Yeah, no, that was pretty much it.
So I went to go watch Saturday.
Points.
I went to go spend some time Saturday morning with the Ultimate Frisbee tournament.
Is that down? Yeah. How was it? Leo Palace,
Leo
right?
Palace,
Yeah.
at the soccer field at Leo Palace. I thought I'm having a hard time because I don't know any of the team names, and it was just like there was.
Did they get to make them up?
Team yellow and green and black and blue, and that's based on the jersey colors, the red, and that's what they were wearing. And it's all people that I know from Ultimate Frisbee, but I didn't realize that they were actually on teams. I thought it was just a constant kind of pickup thing. So I was watching that, and it was nice. They even brought some people from Saipan down.
Oh, really? To play?
Yeah. And Kaz Endo is listening to us, wondering when we're going to bring up the Conquer event up in Saipan.
When is that? That's the.
It's done. It was this weekend.
So
look, I'm just serious. If you were looking for people from Guam that you couldn't find anywhere, then they were up in Saipan for the deal.
But they're going on the tour, right, of the Pacific?
Yeah, Guam so they did Saipan. Guam is next, and then they're doing Palau.
Okay, yeah, and Palau's going to be the weekend-long one, right? They're going to do the whole weekend-long thing?
I'll get more details. You can go to Conquer, Konquer. There's no points for spelling here. Konquer. And wait a second, they've got the results for Saipan up. Let's see if it makes any sense.
I'm looking at their Facebook page as well. You can check them out on Facebook, Konquer, like you spelled, and go like them there. They don't have any results here.
No, they've got the Saipan results up there for K10, but I don't know how to get to them, and frankly, I don't know that I would know who I was looking for. Enduro Solo, okay, first place. Joshua Minglotnia with a time of 53:26. I don't know what the course was like, so I couldn't tell you whether that was fast or slow. But it's coming back.
And they're running from zombies, remember, because if you get touched by zombies or they pull your flag, you're out. You're done.
You can start registering. There's a bunch of different versions that you can get into, and this is not so bad. Adult entry as low as $35 for something like this, and for some of the other ones, Palau is like $25 if you want to get into that. Just get the airplane ride, and maybe you're going to be in good shape for that. But congratulations, Kaz and Kelly and everybody for putting it together. All the people from Guam that went up there, like Carl Pangilinan.
Yes,
Carl with a K. He was up there. Yes, yes.
So the golf courses were safe this past weekend.
Don't know it. Yeah, exactly. There were a couple of tournaments that I think were going on this weekend as well, but I don't know whether he participated or whether he was a zombie.
Oh, that's right. Because you could just go there and just run as a zombie.
Yeah, I know APL was a big part of this show.
Also, wanted to add that speaking of APL, had this note here that the APL Women's Fast Pitch League will start the second annual. Because remember we talked about them last year.
Yep.
And they had the big All-Star game to.
I remember everything we talked about last year. Pick a day. I'll be able to tell you what it was.
Guam Women's Fast Pitch Softball League will be held June 22nd down at PD Field. That's going to start as well, because I know that we talk a lot about APL. So shout out to them and their second annual Women's Fast Pitch League.
It's 8:29 in the morning, and so I'm kind of hinting towards the NFL area. When are we going to start seeing games? Because it's like May.
Yeah.
And so everybody's teams are together already? All the rosters up?
OTAs, which are organized team activities, and these are voluntary. So usually what you'll do is you'll have your rookies and your guys who are fighting for a spot. They'll always show up. Your high-profile names may show up, may not, depending on what kind of leader they are or how well they're getting it turned up in Miami right now. I just assume they're always getting it turned up in Miami. Most of them.
Well, did you see the story about Miami today? I guess what's the name of the basketball player that ran through here, went up to
Gerald Green,
J.R.
Smith?
No, the basketball player went from here to North Korea.
Oh, Dennis Rodman.
He got beat up.
He beat up a guy.
Oh, he beat up a guy.
And did you read who
that was in Florida?
That was in Fort Lauderdale. Where that was and I read that in the Post over the weekend. And did you see what one of the witnesses were named? Anybody?
No.
It's interviewed in that story. 50 years old, David Lee Roth. I'm not joking. If you go,
David Lee Roth,
I think that's on the back.
Old.
Is that on the back? It's this one right here. It's this
Saturday?
issue.
That's
It's this Saturday's. And, yeah, if you look at the Rodman story.
You go ahead and look for that. Cazendo online saying humans won up in Saipan over the weekend. Zombies lost. Thanks, guys. We'll be back next week to hype up Guam. David Evans also online. Dave, goofing off with my friends at EPAN on Saturday and Sunday afternoon and playing all kinds of local tunes. And your song came up, and we did blame it on the cha-cha-cha. Witness David Lee Roth, 50 of Miami Beach, who had invited Solok.
So Jeff Solok was the victim. That's his last name.
Okay, so he invited the guy to the party, told police he was about 20 feet away and saw Rodman smack Solok twice. He told police he did not know the reason for the alleged attack. Roth could not be reached for comment on Thursday.
He was on tour.
Yeah.
With
David
Van
Lee
Halen.
Roth. It's not Van Halen, it's David Lee Roth.
No, he's not. But I just thought it great because I guess if your name is David Lee Roth, of course you go by all three names, right?
Yeah, you should.
Yeah.
I think it should be an actual thing. All right. There was something else in my head I wanted to talk about. I guess we're going to have to table it until tomorrow.
Did you? Okay. But yeah, so just to let you know, the finals as well, because that also was decided over the weekend since the last time we have seen each other. So this Friday, which I guess is in just a few days, we will have Game 1 of the NBA Finals as the Raptors punched their ticket over the weekend. They beat the Bucks. And then, of course, the Warriors, they swept the Trailblazers early last week. So so Toronto and Golden State, Friday, 11 a.m. local time on ABC.
So I'm going to have to start paying attention. I swear to God, I'm going to lose a friend.
Why? Because of the finals?
Yeah, we're at Crust on Friday, and they got the replay of the game going on the big screens up there, and he's like, Ray, why don't you follow NBA? And I'm like, what? I don't have the bandwidth. I don't have the brain power to, keep all of that stuff straight in my head. He's like, there's nobody else I can talk to about this, and you don't follow sports.
Yeah.
Hey, sorry about that, bro.
See, that's why I don't expect you to. That's why I always got to keep a note to remind you that, the finals went on because I know you didn't see it. So
wasn't paying attention. But I saw.
So if you're getting mad at Ray, you should just get mad at yourself. You shouldn't expect him to follow the sport.
So Tom, I'm sorry, I couldn't even pick out and they put up these guys, like these all-star dudes. He says, wow, look at that star-studded lineup. I'm like, that looks like 5 random guys to me.
Just 5 guys.
I don't know.
Those the guys that make the burgers? That's the same 5 guys?
Could be.
But yeah, so 11 a.m. Friday morning locally, ABC. That will be Game 1 of the finals, all you Golden State fans.
Gotcha.
So there you go.
All right, that's all the time I think we've got to pretend to talk
It
about
should be
sports.
noted that until about 5 years ago, there were only like 4 Golden State Warriors fans in the entire universe.
He's not wrong.
It's 8:33. Headlines with Kevin Kerrigan coming up next. Thanks, Blake.
We know too well the inconvenience of not having power after a storm. You worry about the food in the freezer going bad. Nights get hot. It's hard finding comfort when going to sleep. These are realities. But with solar and battery storage from Micronesia Renewable Energy, these realities can be a thing of the past. The solar works during the day and the batteries power your home at night. Call 632-2613 to see how solar plus battery storage can make life a little more convenient. MRE, the smarter choice.
Dude, I didn't realize it. So this Virginia Madsen that I've been talking about endlessly all morning long because they're here shooting a movie for Netflix, actually nominated for the 77th Academy Awards for Best Supporting Actress. I don't think she got it, but the movie did get the Movie of the Year. Also, Best Foreign Film Not in Spanish Language won Best Adapted Screenplay, Best American Film, Best Director. This Sideways movie, I guess everybody saw it. Best Supporting Actress was, or Best Supporting Actor, Tom Hayden Church is in there. Best Cast, including Tom Hayden Church, Paul Giamatti, Virginia Madsen, and Sandra Oh, who went on to just kill on television. Come on, there it is. Best Supporting Actress, Broadcast Film Critics Association Award. She won for that one. Just, like I said, crushing on her since Electric Dreams came out in, what was that, 83, 84, and here on Guam for that show. So connect, hookups, 888-8255-888-TALK. It's 8:35, and time for our last look at headlines this morning from the Guam Daily Post. Here's Kevin Kerrigan.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. In the headlines from the Guam Daily Post this morning, starting this week, official enumerators will be interviewing households in all the island's villages for the 2019 Household Income Expenditure Survey. The survey is being conducted by the University of Guam Cooperative Extension, the Guam Department of Labor, and the Guam Bureau of Statistics. The survey workers will be wearing official UOG safety vests, and they'll carry a picture ID. Their vehicles will also display a sign that says Household Income Expenditure Survey. They're scheduled to visit about 2,500 randomly selected households on the island over the next 4 months. Participation is voluntary. The interview includes questions about expenses over the home old holders over the past 2 weeks. The information will be kept confidential. The Household Income Expenditure Survey is one of the most reliable economic data tools for rebasing the Consumer Price Index, measuring inflation, and developing the gross domestic product figure for Guam. In a Memorial Day letter to the Secretary of Education, Betsy DeVos, Attorney General Levin Camacho, and 51 other attorney generals are calling for student loan relief for veterans who became totally and permanently disabled in connection with military service. In their letter, the AGs note that the U.S. Department of Education identified more than 42,000 veterans as eligible for student loan relief due to a service-related total and permanent disability. The letter urges U.S. DOE to create a process to automatically discharge the student loans of veterans determined by the Department of Veterans Affairs to be eligible for that relief. Filmmakers under contract with Netflix are currently on the island shooting a movie called Operation Christmas Drop. The film is being directed by Martin Wood, who is known for directing and producing the Stargate science fiction television series. The cast includes Kate Graham of The Vampire Diaries and Alexander Ludwig, who played the character Kato in The Hunger Games, as well as Virginia Madsen, who starred in the 2004 comedy Sideways. The plot, according to Netflix, centers on a congressional aide who is gathering evidence to support closing a tropical U.S. Air Force base. A statement from Netflix says the set will be closed. The cast, crew, and filmmakers will not be available for interviews until just prior to the release of the film, which is set for sometime next year. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
I wonder if they get any activist stage time in there. I wonder if they talk to any of the activists around here to find out, to get them make some cameos to support the idea that they want to close the base.
Good idea.
Do you think maybe just run up around Mike Malacqua and some of those guys? Yeah. 8:38 in the morning, that's iConnect time. Roll over to iConnect and talk to them about different ways that they can save you money. Chances are very good that you are probably overpaying for your service one way or the other. Maybe you just don't have that kind of need for that kind of bandwidth. They're always on kind of capacity. So check them out over at iConnect, and they will find a plan, or maybe make a plan just for you that will meet you and your family's needs. It starts with a phone call, 888-8888.
If you're driving, chances are you'll need gas soon. And by the growl in your tummy, a trip to the grocery store too. But don't just buy gas and groceries without getting double miles. Instead, apply for the new United Credit Card from First Hawaiian Bank and start earning double miles towards your next trip. Gas, groceries, getaway. With the new United Credit Card, apply at FHB.com. First Hawaiian Bank, member FDIC. Equal housing lender. Additional terms, conditions, and restrictions apply.
Traffic Gizmo. What's it say? What's it looking like? Still ugly, trying to get out of intersection of Route 3 and 1. There's a little bit of traffic coming down from the schools and passing by the hospitals. That's definitely going to keep you busy through there. Most of the other intersections, a little bit busy, but for the most part, once you make it through a couple of lights, should be all right. You'll find that over at, where are we at? 10 and 15, that intersection there. And then as you make your way through Derry, you might see some congestion as well. You know where you'll find it? At the speed bumps. And some of the big, kind of potholes that they've got down there. But once you're on Route 4, should be all right until you get into the downtown Agutnia area. A little bit of traffic coming in from Agania Heights area into What roadway is that? O'Brien Drive, and then the rest of it's just intersection traffic. Let me just see real quick how we're doing over at the intersection of 1 and 2. A little bit busy on the way into Big Navy down in Sumai, but I think you're going to be okay. 20 away from 9 o'clock in the morning. That's right now traffic here on The Point.
Hi, welcome to this Subway ad for the new Sweet and Smoky Steak and Guac Signature Wrap. How would you like it? I'll take my ex-girlfriend, just checking in. Aw.
Hey, David, it's me, just checking in. I'm doing great. Just got the new Sweet and Smoky Steak and Guac Signature Wrap from Subway. Creamy guacamole, smoky sweet Wajillo mesquite sauce, and double the tender steak. They just know what I want before I do. So, yeah, things are going pretty great for me. Subway, make it what you want. Limited time only at participating restaurants. Double meat based on average 6-inch sub. Okay, bye.
There's simply not enough information there. What's going on? Is this today? National Burger Day at Chili's Guam. Buy one, get one free. And they've got a picture of it. National Burger Day, and it's this massive big bun, and then we've got like lots and lots of bacon, and there's meat there, and then there's vegetables down around the bottom. Buy one, get one free over at Chili's Guam. Okay, I'll check. You got mouth-watering. Mouth-watering now. 888-255-888-TALK. Operation Christmas Drop, says James Howard, is the cover name. It's disinformation. That's what I'd say if I wanted to keep my film a secret. I don't know how big of a secret it is. I know a couple of people that are involved to a degree or another in the production of the film, but I couldn't tell you whether there's any celebs here right now. And if they are, they're doing a pretty bang up job of keeping themselves quiet and on the QT. So I don't know. We'll watch and see. Somebody out there has got pictures of somebody in a bikini at Ipao Beach, maybe by one of the Tony hotels, or maybe in the crook of the cliff over by Gun Beach. I don't know. We'll see what happens. 888-255-888-TALK. Shar, I need more information on this, okay? I've got the details on the picture, but when is National Burger Day? I mean, is this something that's going on right now? Do I need to break my lunchtime plans? I was originally going to leave here and go home and grab a nap, but if it's one of those national buy one, get one free burger things, it might be worth finding somebody. I mean, I'll buy the burger, and we'll find somebody that I like to watch eat. I'm sure you've got somebody like that in your life. Think about it. Now, Josh Tykenko from the Visitors Bureau on the line. Good morning, Joshy.
Half a day. Good morning, Ray. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm not going to say that you're the guy that I like to watch eat.
Yeah.
but when we do get together,
we've had a few burgers.
We've had one or two. You remember? Oh my God, what was the name of the place above Mai Tais in Hawaii? You remember?
Oh yeah, the one the burgers and
this volcano burger.
Yeah, and you were drinking your beer with it.
Yeah, well, of course. I mean, I'm sorry, that's how you eat hamburgers. You have to have beer. I'm surprised they don't give that to you at McDonald's and Wendy's. But anyway, so no, Manny Hechanova, our mutual friend, Manny Hechanova. I love watching him eat because he eats in proportion. So if you've got this much rice and you got this much meat, and I don't know how he does it. It's like a mathematical thing in his head, and he'll make it so that the last scoop of whatever has equal amounts rice and meat.
Yeah.
So you never want to run out of meat earlier and still have rice on your plate. You don't want to run out of rice and still have meat on your plate.
That's true. He eats with passion too. Like he makes you want to eat more food.
And of course, we all know you can't have your pudding until you've eaten your meat.
That's right. So it's one of those things, and I've never seen him eat just one plate of anything.
Right.
I love watching that guy eat. Manny Hechanova, if you're listening, then that's the big deal here. You have been named as one of the people that Ray Gibson loves to watch eat. 8:44 and it's keto, right? You take the bread off and it's a keto meal. Anyway, so my buddy Josh Tykenko's on the line from GVB. Not today, but tomorrow is the start of the Micronesia Island Fair, right?
That's right. I know we're getting really pumped up for this. It starts off at 10 a.m. tomorrow. Opening ceremonies at 6 p.m. It's down at Plaza de España this year. So if anyone's going, we invite you to go. But yes, please come down. It's at Plaza de España. It's going to be through Sunday, June 2nd.
There's no bathrooms at the Plaza de España.
There are going to be bathrooms set up around the area, like on the other side, right by the azotea.
Okay.
And then also, I believe that the restrooms at the Guam Museum, I believe, will also be open.
Check with Carlo and see if they're going to open up the ones over at the Congress building as well.
Yeah. So we definitely are mapping out we've mapped out the area, but there'll definitely be restrooms on site. So.
All right.
Yeah.
Good to know. I think that's the important thing, number one, and otherwise the general sprucing up of the downtown area. I don't know whose idea it was. I took somebody last year to go and take some pictures over at the GUAM that they have down there, and at the time it was all muddy. But I noticed recently that somebody's gone in and put down like a foundation of rocks so that your pictures are all going to look great and nobody has to be ugly muddy.
Oh yes, yeah. We definitely we tried to address the Guam letters, which in fact have been painted different colors. So it'll be if you're down there, make sure to take an updated picture of the Guam letters too. But yeah, we worked together to try to just spruce up the area, like you said, because the area got so popular with the Guam letters with all the different people taking pictures that the grass turned into mud and it just and then some of the mud went onto the letters and it wasn't looking nice. So it's definitely a lot more beautiful now. So
now when we talk about the Micronesia Island Fair, it's a bunch of it's us, arts and crafts, culture, and other arts and crafts culture from other different islands coming in, right?
Definitely. We're celebrating peace and friendship in the Pacific. That's the theme of this year. But different delegations that are confirmed to be there are Yap and Coast Rai, Marshall Islands, Chuuk, Palau, and Ponape and Rota will also be there. So as well as the Guam delegations. Altogether, it's 8 delegations total. And then, of course, different performances. We have the Guam Chamorro Dance Academy from Japan that will be performing.
I've seen them. They're great.
Yeah, they will give you goosebumps.
No, it's such a great story. It's a bunch of women in Japan that fell in love with Guam and the culture and wanted to learn about the music and the dance. So they got taught and now teach each other. So it's the whole Guam thing in Japan.
Men, women, even children. They're taught by Master of Chamorro Dance Frank Rabone, and there are like over 700 dancers, I believe, to date. And so and a lot of them will be here this weekend, starting tomorrow. And they'll give you goosebumps, as well as the MU Lujan Elementary School Cultural Club. These kids they're going to be performing Chamorro songs and dance and chants, and they're elementary school students, and they have so much passion for our language and our culture, and I really hope that everyone gets a chance to see them. It's really awesome.
So it's
then, of course.
No, I wanted to get to the food part because, it's just this conversation about the National Burger Day, buy one, get one free, is actually today. And I'll get you some details on that. So, but what about now starting tomorrow, will there be, are we going to have food trucks out there? Are we going to have, more booths?
Yes, definitely. This is very much a food truck event as well. Different vendors. I guess some of the names I could list: Sticky Fingers, Corn, Munchies Food Truck, G&G's Barbecue, Lynn's Barbecue, Sip and Dip, and so much more. And of course there's different drinks. There's a beer garden, Ray, if you want to. No,
I don't drink.
But yeah, there's also a drink booth as well. And then lots of family fun. There's an ATM on site thanks to Bank of Guam, and so and also featured entertainment. We got 3Ks. They're a group from Palau. Kendall Kalau and Kayama will be there. Shannon McManus, 4for4. The John Dank Show will be closing out on Sunday. Fat Tofu, Soul Drop. Those are some of the names that are going to be there too. So I think there's also a fashion show on one of the days. Tao Pacific Designs, I think, is the one that's going to be hosting that. So that'll be pretty cool. And then Mario Borja. You might remember him.
Suckman
Chamorro, Master Carver. Yeah, he's here on Guam with Auntie JoJo, and they're gonna be there. And he's excited. We've seen him quite a bit, and he's just preparing to showcase what he's learned so far. And they're gonna have a Sackman there, and I believe the Ulitao is also gonna be there too. And so yeah, come check them out. They'll be down there.
Except, I mean, bring some folding money, and that's why there's an ATM in the area that's going to be driven down there. But otherwise, fairly low cost, no cost. I mean, if you don't want to buy anything, you don't have to. You can just go down there and just watch and see what's going on.
It's absolutely free. It's a family-friendly event. But yeah, if you want to bring some cash and support our local artists and vendors, I believe even the delegations will be bringing some of their arts and crafts too. And I heard Palau's bringing their storyboards. So, yeah, it might be a good time to start Christmas shopping in the next few days and to get those unique gifts for your loved ones. So.
Hey, you know what? Everybody worried about the dying culture. Well, go down there and support it. There's language, there's music, there's culture, and great opportunities to see where the cultures that we have here on Guam might match up with the other islands and the way that they do things and the way that they prepare their art and the way they tell their stories. If you look close enough, you'll see more similarities than you will differences. That's one of the reasons why we put this party together. 9 away from the top of the hour. After that, what's the next big deal from GVB?
Oh gosh, I know we're helping with the Liberation festivities. So this is kind of like kicking off the 75th Liberation summer of events, and so we roll right into the Liberation Carnival. We got Guam Barbecue Block Party coming up.
Ooh,
there's just so much.
Wait,
so much
did you say Glock Party?
Yeah, the Guam Barbecue Block Party will be coming back in July. So. Yeah, we're also trying to do some preliminary work for that in the midst of executing GMIF. So, yeah, I can't wait to share more details once I get them from the team and share it with you.
Are you going to get more K-pop out here? The K-pop thing went over really well.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I know that's something that our marketing department has been looking into, but I can't confirm anything at this point. But I know that it's something that really went well in December, and I know that it's on the table. So, yeah, we'll see.
I'm sorry, I'm just stuck on the Glock Party thing coming back. 8:52 in the morning. Joshie, it's always fun talking with you. We'll have a running date here one of these days.
Awesome. Sounds great, Ray. Have a great day.
All right, Brad. See you pretty soon. 888-8255-888-TALK. It is 8:52 in the morning. What did Blake? Blake put something up on the Star 101 website and Facebook page. Game of Thrones fans are a passionate bunch, as demonstrated by the recent petition that has so far garnered more than 1.5 million signatures, demanding that the entire 8th season be remade with writers who aren't, quote, woefully incompetent. And blasting series showrunners D.B. Weiss and David Benioff. The anger has apparently not subsided as a new petition is asking that Disney remove the duo from writing and producing the 3 upcoming Star Wars movies. Where were these people when Lost ended? They say Lost in at least one season of not Breaking Bad, the Sopranos. Mm-hmm. It was another kind of disappointment for people that were expecting a little bit more out of the season enders and the conclusions. It has not really struck me yet. I mean, I watched the last episode, actually watched it twice, and I'm like, okay, I guess that's done. I'll move on with my life and see what else is out there. Chernobyl, and we've talked about this a couple of times. Chernobyl is a great series on HBO. If you've maintained the account, it is worth holding on to at least to find out where this thing is going to go. Based on an actual true story. In fact, there's a story that I found in social media today. You can tour Chernobyl. They will take you on a bus and give you a little thing to count all the rads. Right. But you can go around there and take a look at Chernobyl the way it is now, which is virtually identical to the way it was when they shot that movie and moved everybody out. Yeah. Yeah. That you have to go, and there's nothing in there that you want to take out. And you might find jewelry, but you know what has been targeted with so much radiation out there. Handling it'll kill you over the long period. So virtually safe from any kind of burglary or grave robbing, if you want to call it that. But I think that the whole concept is amazing. With that particular story. And again, I've been watching a show called Letterkenny, which is a town in Ontario, 5,000 people, and as you can imagine, small town life can be very, very interesting in the place. And to that, I love that. And there's a bunch of, gotta tell, this is my favorite part about the show. There are a bunch of running gags. There are things that you will see in the first 2 or 3 or 4 episodes that they will do time and time again. Over the life of the program. You'll hear the phrase "FERDA," and I'm not going to tell you what it means. Just know that it's there, and they use it a lot. And to be fair, and I'm not going to give you the punchline on that one, but watch a couple of episodes. You're either going to love it or hate it. And as is the case with me, virtually every woman I've told about the show to hates it. There's something about, I don't know, me and my television and my movie habits that is just, anathema to women and their entertainment. I used to watch a show called The Black Adder, which is what Mr. Bean did before he became famous Mr. Bean.
Right, yeah.
Black Adder, one of the best written British comedy shows in the world. But that, with most of every single woman I've had a relationship with in my life that I've made watch an episode of that. That has been the one thing that they would get up in the middle of and walk away from.
See, that should be your litmus test. When you find a girl that'll sit through that one,
right?
She's the keeper.
Well, I thought that was the case with at least one of them, but it turns out she's just drunk.
Yeah, well, there's that too.
Leads you to drink. So anyway, Letterkenny is the name of the program on HBO, and I think it's great. Dennis Ben-Sur says John and Grey Worm should have had a trial by combat. That would have been nice. That's my buddy Dennis is writing that on the Facebook Live. We're just kind of following up with different thoughts and things like that this particular Tuesday morning.
I could see this writing thing starting to surface right around season 6. That's where they got into these multiple interwoven storylines, and it all became actually quite confusing.
Well, yeah,
and
but
I think
as
they
it
really
turns out,
didn't
none
know
of
how
them,
to spread all that out.
It turns out, some of them didn't make any difference.
No, I know, and that's the other thing. Why even put them in there?
Yeah, so we go through this convoluted, and here's a break in a story or a new thread that you thought was going to be okay. This is something that will come up in the last couple of seconds of the show. Give me an example. What was the name of the guy, Dennis? What was the name of the dude that showed up with Tyrion and his brother and punched Tyrion in the face? And that was, I thought, going to go somewhere. I thought that was going to figure heavily in whatever happened in the very last episode of the program, and it didn't. It just didn't happen. There are all kinds of other strings. Then you're going, wait a second, but they made us watch a whole episode where this happened, and it ended up doing what the heck? Anyway, so I'm with you. But the problem that I think people are going to have here, like my friend Dennis, who is an expert on Game of Thrones. I mean, the guy just knows chapter and verse. He knows everything about it. From the beginning, he knows all the characters. I mean, it's like watching Major League Baseball and knowing everybody in every position on every team, right? I mean, this guy just and the history of it. So going back to the books, going back to the early versions of the series, he just knows. And so all of a sudden, is there still a call for that kind of expertise? Is there still, it was before, right? Dennis, it was nice. We sit around and drink beer and shoot the bull and start talking about Game of Thrones. And now there's not much of a call anymore to have all of that knowledge in your head. And I don't know. It's like that scene. I'll remember the name of the movie here in a couple of days, but it was a scene where the guy was his whole deal on movies was The Godfather, and the substance and the symbolism behind every single scene in the Godfather movies. Right? I mean, there's which movie I'm talking about. You've probably seen it a couple of times. But anyway, so where will that kind of knowledge be required in the future? Tell you what, I might ponder that a little bit more in the next hour. Probably not. I'm sorry, just killing a little bit of time between phone call with Josh and the top of the hour news. There are some other very, very interesting stories that are out there that are worth talking about, including the idea that, and I feel so bad. I'm so disappointed because just last week I was telling you how much I love Judge Cison for throwing the book at one of these guys, right? He threw the book at one of these guys and said, no personal recognizance on you because you're a dirty, dirty guy and I don't want you out in the streets. And but he's also the guy that over the weekend let an admitted rapist, a guy that was alleged to have impregnated a then 11-year-old, let him out. What the hell is going on in that courthouse? It's 9 o'clock in the morning. The radio station is KUSG. I got you. Stand by for Fox News Live.
Wrapping up his visit, I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. President Trump in his last hours of his state visit to Japan as he sits down with the Prime Minister.
And President Trump predicted that the United States and Japan will reach a new trade agreement. Certainly, Prime Minister Abe does not want to get involved in any of those tariffs against autos that are looming out there and would like to cut a deal. But the president predicted it wouldn't happen until August, until after July elections here in Japan, in which Prime Minister Abe hopes to strengthen his political hand and his ability to make a deal with the president.
Fox's John Roberts in Tokyo. The two also discussed the threat of North Korea after the North fired short-range missiles earlier this month. At the Tomb of the Unknowns at Arlington National Cemetery.
This is the day that makes possible all other American days.
Vice President Mike Pence addressing Gold Star families this Memorial Day. The vice president told those assembled their duty was to serve. Our duty is to remember. Ceremonies also held at the World War II Memorial and the Vietnam War Memorial. A deadly tornado striking El Reno, Oklahoma.
Officials say an EF3 tornado made a direct hit striking a motel where it then moved on to a nearby mobile home park. That's where 2 people were killed and several others were injured. The tornado so strong it nearly ripped the entire second floor off of a motel. Folks who lived through the storm say the tornado appeared to develop very quickly, giving them only minutes to find shelter.
Fox's Jeff Paul in El Reno, Oklahoma. Governor Kevin Stitt toured the area today. He says he spoke with President Trump, who promised federal help to the area. One portion built. A leader with the group that's been raising money to build a wall at the southern border says less than a mile of wall has been built on private land in New Mexico. We Build the Wall Inc. co-founder Dustin Stockton tells the AP the segment in Sunland Park is mostly up and should be completed by the end of the week. I'm Lisa Lacera. This is Fox News.
Get a half-gallon of Minute Maid orange juice for only $1.99 when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy. Get a half-gallon of Dairy Gold milk for only $1.99 when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy. Get a $7 meal for only $1.99 when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy.
GRMC's cardiology department treats most complex heart problems. In our catheterization lab, cardiologists use imaging equipment to treat clogged arteries that can cause heart attacks or heart failure. We perform balloon angioplasty, stenting, and other life-saving cardiac procedures. If you suffer from a heart condition, have your provider refer you to GRMC's cardiology clinic at 645-5500. GRMC, where patients are partners.
A wildfire burning for the last month in Alaska is spreading as firefighters step up efforts to protect homes.
The biggest obstacle for firefighters has been high winds kicking up in several areas southeast of Fairbanks. Crews have been organizing their efforts by documenting houses and cabins on private land and shifting fire lines for maximum protection of property. Authorities say they believe they can trace the start of the fire back to April 30th, but who set the area ablaze and how is still being investigated. As of now, low visibility has led to canceled observation flights to the area. That also allows less interference with firefighting efforts from the air. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
New research suggests flavorings for e-cigarettes may be bad for your heart. In a study published today, Stanford University researchers write that when they expose cells grown in a lab to flavorings from e-cigarettes or blood from people who vaped, it triggered blood vessel dysfunction that can increase the risk of heart disease. But the researchers say more research is needed. An infamous baseball player has died.
Bill Buckner played 22 seasons of Major League Baseball, but will forever be remembered for one play.
Little roller up along first, behind the bag, it gets through Buckner. Here comes Knight, and the Mets win it.
Buckner's error on Mookie Wilson's ground ball to first gave the Mets Game 6 of the 1986 World Series and became one of the most infamous images of the Red Sox long World Series drought. Buckner died on Monday, losing a battle with the disease Lewy body dementia at 69 years old.
Fox's Tim McMaster. Biographer Edmund Morris, best known for his biography of President Ronald Reagan, has died. He was 78. A magnitude 5.8 earthquake struck off the coast of southern Alaska. No damage has been reported, according to the U.S. Geological Survey. I'm Lisa Lacera. This is Fox News.
So what's the deal? Are you still paying for the right to have your checking account at your bank? Well, at Bank Pacific, we think it's our privilege, not our right. That's why we offer My Green Free Checking, where your monthly maintenance checking fees are zero. That's zero. And it comes with a free Visa check card and monthly green e-statements. My Green Free Checking. Bank Pacific today. Because having you as our customer, that's our privilege.
Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots.
Equal housing lender, member FDIC. Viva Bank Pacific.
Be back. It's 5 after 9 o'clock in the morning. Portions of the Ray Gibson Show brought to you by the guys over at, Micronesia Renewable Energy. They have batteries now. I mean, it's got like a zillion AAA batteries, and they put them all in a bank and attach that to your solar gizmos, and that means that you've got electricity even after the sun goes down, huh? More energy independence for you. So check out the guys over at MRE, Micronesia Renewable Energy. American President line says there's never been a better time to ship the future, so they do it every day. Guam Regional Medical City. Love these guys. First choice for your specialty care needs. Cars Plus, where right now they are in the midst of a great sale. It's their Memorial Day sales event with on-the-spot financing, low interest rates. Get to Cars Plus today for your new Jeep, Ram, or Hyundai car. Hyundai, I think, is how it's pronounced in Korea. And once you get the car, call the guys over at Nanbo Insurance. Lucky and the team will put together a bundle-up plan for you that includes the car and the motorcycle and the house and the apartment and the business and the kids, and you could save up to 50% with their bundle-up plan. The number is 477-9754.
Morning talk that matters. It's the Ray Gibson Show. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
Da-da-da-da. 7 after 9 o'clock in the morning, 888-825-5888-TALK. Daryl Taggarty online this morning saying, GOT, gotcha. That's what they call it, entertainment and not education. Like Guam politicians and staff paid to provide distraction, not expected by enough voters to build the future for all of us. Dennis Mansour, realizing that I'm right. Anybody that had that superior, almost PhD level knowledge of Game of Thrones, what are you going to do with it now? What happens now? You know, what do you
rewrite season 8?
What do you? Well, there is such a thing as fan fiction.
Yeah, no, we've seen it in the Star Trek annals. I mean, for years.
Yeah.
I mean, that started even back with the original series. How many of the paperback Star Trek books have you read?
Paperback Starback books?
None.
Yeah.
I read a bunch of them. Some interesting books, some really good stories.
But based on fan fiction.
To a certain degree, but some of these people writing these books were also people who helped to contribute some scripts to the original series.
Yeah, so that's what maybe that's what's going to happen with some of these folks is now they've got a whole other universe in their head. So maybe the smart thing to do would be to try to tie. You know who else? Like the Star Wars people. Star Wars people, that's a whole culture. And that one there doesn't seem to end. I mean, they were already talking about them writing some new Star Wars movies. So there you go. Dennis says, yeah, I'm now obsolete, going to go the way of the Polaroids one of these days. So in the last couple of hours of the programs, it just, touch and go on a couple of issues. I think I've riffed enough today. And wrung out the concept of what we got to do here over at the courts. My buddy Bob Camacho had his house broken into again for the 4th time. It's getting scary, and we just have to add more security measures. So that's a point that the Post was making a couple of weeks ago. Or somebody was making it, and I had to stop and agree and go, yes, you're absolutely right. The people are doing our work. They're gonna come back and say, well, it's a community issue. We're going to have to do, say, crime and the meth jug. It's a community issue. Everybody got to pull on that rope. The community is already doing our work. We've already set up the neighborhood watches. We've already got the video cameras and the alarm systems in the house. The police officers are doing their job. They're pulling people over. And almost every infraction, and I've talked about this before. It's one of my favorite concepts. Is the moving probable cause. Somewhere, if you're on the road right now, take a look. Maybe a couple of cars in front of you, a couple of cars behind you. There is one that you can look at it and look at the drivers and go, there's a crime about to be committed here. Or maybe there's a crime that just got committed. You can just look at the car, and the cops have got that same eagle eye. And they'll look at the car and go, yeah, plates look hinky. Tail lights out. Front lights out.
Yeah, they look at my car and think, man, I bet he has plants in the back of his car.
Exactly. On him right now, in his lap, in the driver's seat. And so they pull him over, and there is almost, in almost every case, I mean, I can't remember the last time I heard about somebody just getting a ticket. On Guam, it seems like if you get pulled over, you're going to have your vehicle inspected. They'll find a pipe. They'll find a gun. They'll find some rolling papers and other paraphernalia. So the cops are out there doing their thing. Where is the rest of it? Where are we failing in this community? And I told you where it is. It's in the courts. It is in the courthouse where we're just not able to get these guys into the notion that that these criminals that they're letting out, don't leave, because sometime in the next 3 years we might actually have a criminal trial for you. But don't sin anymore either, and they just don't get it. They get out there, they get released, they start rolling with their homeboys and their home slices, and then pretty soon they're back in jail, back in trouble in front of the law. Felony release. We're seeing plenty of that. Over the weekend, I don't know about you, I saw this at the post office and thought, you've got to be kidding. And it's the story of, I think it was Saturday's newspaper, of a guy. I got to get to the front of this. Maybe I can show it to you. Judge frees suspect in child rape case. Kidding me. He admitted it. He admitted it. And a little girl, 11, going on 12 by now, I'm sure. Now the stigma of having to carry this guy's baby. What's that got to feel like? Oh, don't worry. He's not going to stay at the same place. And he got an order to stay away from them. That's just a piece of paper, isn't it? Just a piece of paper. I'm just wondering. And this is the same judge. Last week I was kudoing him because he was holding on to somebody. There's a story I gotta tell you about this. Alleged drug kingpin. Bob, you there, Robert?
Yes, I am.
All right. So let me just, because this one here is spectacular in that Judge Anita Sokola actually held on to somebody. A man who prosecutors described as being one of the biggest drug dealers facing charges in local court will have to wait in DEPCOR until his trial after a judge rejected his request to be released. Maybe somebody got a message to her. Maybe somebody told her, hey, Judge Sokola, they're starting to look at you as one of these people just got a revolving door around there. We don't need a fan. We don't need air conditioning. We got the revolving door around Judge Anita Sokola's courtroom where if you go up to her and cry about, oh, I got to take care of my families or I miss my kids, she'll let you out. But she held on to this guy's. More on that story in just a second. Robert Camacho is former director of the Department of Corrections, former police chief of the airport police chief up there, and former Army guy. Doesn't shoot guns anymore, shoots cameras.
Yeah, definitely, yes.
So the point that I was making most of the morning was, you know what's scary is when you got somebody with those kind of credentials. Chief of Airport Police, DEPCOR boss, and an Army guy. And when you've got somebody with your credentials saying it's getting pretty scary out there, man, what are the rest of us non-Rambos supposed to do?
Yeah, I can see what you're saying. And yeah, of course, it's always scary to see this and kind of traumatic for the family when something like this happens, you know. And I mean, through the years, we've had some break-ins, and I for every incident we've hardened our house. We changed the windows and, put different kinds of locks. And we had the last couple of breaks ago, we had an alarm system, So this one, it didn't trigger for some reason or another. And, they were able to scoot out with some items that, real quickly from the incident.
Hey, dude, there's more than a couple of people that have chimed in this morning that think it might be an inside job. Maybe somebody that you know and would know where the things was responsible for that.
Yeah, I said, typically I stay up really late, and so just right when they're probably scoping out the place. So we have a couple of suspects that we'll probably follow up with. We'll find out. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Do you have a kind of video surveillance at the house? You got something where, I mean, you don't have to tell me if you don't want to. I mean, some people will go, that's between me and my video surveillance system. I don't want the bad guys knowing what I have and not have. Is there any record, video record of the guys in the vehicle that they might have been in?
We do have a video record, so we're trying to figure this all out. But I have an alarm system, but yes, we do have video of the possible suspects.
Cool. All right. I hope that somewhere that goes viral and we're able to help put that on the screen. And maybe somebody will say, "Oh, I know that car. I know those guys. They live down the street from my place. I want them to get arrested because they're turning our neighborhood into a S-hole."
Yeah, I'm kind of just letting the investigators proceed first with what they see, and because I don't want to interfere with that at this point. But later on.
Yeah, but you're the old chief of the airport police. Just let's go, man. Me and you will just get some guys in Rambo and go search the village. We'll go find these guys, dude. Where do you think they're from? Is it Agate?
We just need a name. It starts getting hot. Who's gonna...
Yeah, we didn't know. We'll look up some kind of name. Yeah, what was my favorite cop movie? The Cops Wore Tennis Shoes or something like that from back in the old days, right? We just put together, our own sneaker patrol. Because I think there needs to be some more of that, and I'm worried that there isn't. Because it seems to me, back in the day that there were guys in the village, and if you got out of the line in their village, they would make it they'd go and find you and dispense jungle justice. I'm worried that we don't seem to have that anymore.
Well, I just recently talked with one of the senators about, a long time ago, they used to have these like civil patrol. It was like volunteer neighborhood patrol youth. It was back in the 70s, I remember. And they helped out with crime prevention and all this. And I said maybe we should try to revive that program. It was under the GPD before.
They had the Guardian Angels are still a thing in New York, I guess. You get the Red Berets, but just get guys that aren't afraid to walk around the villages and make it very clear when you've got people that are drinking at the bus stop, or it's and worse now. Summer's coming up, Brud, and there's going to be a lot more kids, 15, 16, 17 years old, that have got nothing to do. They've got no adult supervision. They have no reason to be in the house at any time, day or night. And so we need to make sure that either we keep them busy or that they know that they're constantly being watched one way or the other.
Yeah, definitely. And I want to sit down with the senator and figure out some possible options, and some community intervention programs that, especially a long time ago, back in the 70s, 80s, we had youth centers and all these things where you can go and hang out and play ping pong or basketball. I just want to see.
Man, we got more game rooms than we have youth centers.
Yeah,
maybe that ought to be the thing. If you want a business license for a game room, you have to build a community center for the kids.
That's a great option, and those are the things that these creative solutions that help with the funding source. I mean, that would be a great certain percentage of that goes to help the community and set aside for youth programs or what have you.
So in your case, they found, talking with Robert Camacho, front page of today's newspaper, that's him looking at the hole in the door that somebody put in there in order to go inside and steal. So you were able to get wallets and purses back, right? So just no cash and credit cards?
Yeah, they took the cash. Yeah, pretty much, yeah. And but we canceled the credit cards and everything, but we replaced our door already, so it's made out of metal. So
yeah. Well, in the very least that. So what kind of dog are you getting?
Well, we do have a dog, but he was out deep into the house, and we're having him retrained.
Well, you remember back in the old days, they used to have these signs, silent attack dogs on duty. I always thought that was, and I didn't know, but apparently that was a real thing. There were people that actually took the vocal cords out of the dog so that they could not bark. So what would happen was that the first notice that you had that there was a big mean dog was when it was biting you, when it was running up on you. Maybe I don't know if that's cruel or unusual, but maybe there ought to be somebody kind of doing that business. We're getting, I think you're right, things are getting scary for a lot of people, and now additional steps need to be taken to protect ourselves from guys like this. I mean, just a couple of weeks ago that some guy starts knocking on my door at 9:30 at night asking for Jenna. And I could tell by looking at him and then looking at the video footage later on. You saw the post, right? You saw the guy. That's Tweaker. That's the president of the Tweakers Club on Guam.
Well, here's something that, is very interesting. And, how brazen these people can be. I have security signs all over my house that, but that didn't bother them, or didn't stop them.
Bob, they can't read.
That's possible. That's truly possible.
Yeah, I'll bet you. I'll bet you that's the case.
Whole thing, this whole thing with the drugs, and we already know that it's becoming an epidemic throughout our community. And whenever there's drugs involved, of course, these people on drugs are going to do whatever they can to get their fix, and they will steal, lie, and cheat even to their families, and and that's the hard part. The addiction is so strong that many of them will do these kind of things, and we just need to work harder at it, I guess.
Well, I don't know what we're going to do. I think it's time to get tough on people and just bring back the old the old Abati sentencing standards here. Nick talking about Judge Paul Abati, who had a bodyguard. It was the presiding judge before there was a Supreme Court, and the fact that he not only threw the book at you, he threw the entire library if you were found guilty, and you'd have a lecture, and there would be lecturing from the thing. Talking about what kind of harms you've done to the community, but we don't have those kind of guys anymore, and I don't know that we've got the kind of prosecutors that we need out there going after these guys.
Here's another thing. You're talking about these arbitrary decisions, right? And I think at the federal level, as I recall, the federal probation, they had a thing called salient factor scoring, and it's something like you had to go through the evaluation process. So, like, let's say somebody was up for sentencing or probation or what have you. They had this checklist that said, okay, your offense involved a weapon.
Mm-hmm.
Check. Okay, no, you cannot be released. Is this your second offense? Yes. Okay, no, you can't be released. We should have something of a standard. I mean, yes, I believe in some kind of leeway for the judges and these boards and commissions to make a decision. But I still think there should be some kind of, checklist to say that this is, if you do this and you have a history of this, you cannot be released. And, and I took this course also in Department of Corrections about how to evaluate prisoners and whether or not they're releasable or not. And there's a decision tree. We call it a decision tree. And this decision tree, you follow the line. Okay, are you in for a felony? Okay, you're going to be a maximum for 30 days. Okay, did it involve a crime? Okay, you're going to have to, whatever. You follow this decision tree, and it's like a checklist or salient factor scoring parameters. And so when you follow this, it'll lead you to the, pretty much a good decision, or at least it evaluates the risk factor. So I think maybe that's where, at least for the judges, if they have a risk factor scoring, and to start off with as a baseline, and so that, okay, he's been on probation before, and he tested positive for drugs. Do we put him, extend him, and tell him to go to more community involvement programs with drug treatment, or okay, that's it. You're one strike, you're out. That's the thing I think that needs to be talked about, and more seriously, because letting them, like you were talking about earlier, was
Well, they've had cases. We've seen cases like that where you get somebody that goes in for whatever simple possession charge or something like that, and the judge says, okay, well, I'll tell you what, you go to Lighthouse and you take a couple of courses through there, and when they say you're okay, then we'll release you. We will consider that your sentence. But I can't tell you how many cases that I've read where you got somebody that goes in and then number one, they don't check with their parole guys very often, and number two, they're lip service, if anything, to those programs, those programs where they're supposed to be getting some kind of treatment for the drugs that they're on. And there's so many of those cases that we hear about these days. Hey, it's ICE we're talking about. ICE is really bad. Once people get started on ICE, and you know this, having seen it over at the Department of Corrections, I mean, they'll do whatever it takes to get some while they're inside the joint.
Exactly.
So imagine how much different if you're outside the joint and how much more access you've got. I've heard one judge talking about, I'd sentence you, I'd send you to prison for this, but you can probably get better drugs and more of them at the Department of Corrections.
Right. And here's the thing, too. I know we talk about drugs a lot and, going to the treatment programs, but there's other factors that need to be considered as far as what the follow-up is. It's not going to work if you go to the drug treatment program and you put him in the same neighborhood with the same friends, and he has no transportation, no way of making any money, and all these different factors that has to close the loop. Like, let's say a guy went through the drug treatment program, spent 5 years, and then he comes out and he has no way of getting a job because he has a bad record or what have you. Another thing might be there's no follow-up treatment programs, which is very critical. You can't just say, okay, because they can be triggered. That if they see an old friend, maybe they pass by a house that, this triggers their mind and they get an addiction again going. So there's so many things, but.
Dude, how many people do you and I know that don't live here anymore because that was the only way they could get out from under it?
A long time ago, back in the 70s, 80s, if you got in trouble or whatever, the family would send you to the mainland. That was the typical. And before that, in 70s, 60s, and the 60s, if you got in trouble, they send you. The judge would give you an option to join the military.
Military won't take you now.
Yeah. Now they won't.
Yeah, the military doesn't want to. Yeah, they don't want to be the dumping ground for all of these freaks that we've got running around. Dude, 927. Good luck with the rest of your security measures today. There's a couple of really good ones that you might be able to find over at Home Depot for no other reason, just to get a start. And that I like my guys over at Secure Tech have always taken care of me. So.
Okay, my friend.
Thank
you very much.
You take care,
Good discussion.
dude. Let's go. We'll gun up, man. We'll gun up and go walk around, find guys.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
But everybody wants to. Who gets to be the first? And Bob Camacho gets to look at it this way, right? I almost got to be the first one to test out the Castle Doctrine. Who wants to be the first one? I don't think anybody wants to, but I think there's a great willingness among some of the people around here that are just tired of watching stuff like this go down and a seemingly helpless community. Wouldn't it be great if you were the guy that stood up for everybody else in the neighborhood? Somebody comes to your place, ignores the sign that says no trespassing, gives you just a glimmer of Atan Baba, and then you get to be the one that tests it all out. 9:28 in the morning. A couple of program notes here. Clarity. I have it now. This is the information that I was looking for a little bit earlier. We were talking about it being National Burger Day. I'm not going to show you the radar imagery, but I will show you a picture of what you might be able to find over at Chili's today. Looks yum. Big crown. There's bacon. There's beef. That looks like it's got to be at least a half a pound of beef.
And really, the radar was appropriate because there's no better way to enjoy a burger than inside the cool comfort climbs and watching the rain fall gently outside the window.
Is it raining now?
No, but it will be.
Okay. So I'm sorry. The picture's moving around because I'm trying to magnify in a couple of spots just to show you. You can see the sheen on the bacon. They've done a great job with this picture. Anyway, it's over at Chili's. It's a buy one, get one free offer today only. Bring your BFF or the entire squad. Purchase one burger entree and get the second entree for free. You can get 2 mouth-watering burger entrees for the price of one. So don't miss out. Celebrate National Burger Day. Hashtag Chili's Guam. Hashtag buy one, get one. Hashtag National Burger Day. I don't know if hashtag works on the radio, but what the heck. Disclaimer, offer only available today, Tuesday, May 28th, for dine-in only. Free burger entree must be of equal or lesser value of original entree purchase. Promotion can't be combined with any other offer. Other conditions may apply. May God have mercy on your soul. So there you go. That's what's going on over at Chili's National Burger Day. Now, I would like to give you another program note, if it's all right. On the 7th of June, not this Friday, but the Friday after that, I'm going to be doing a live broadcast from the AK BMW showroom, which will be christened and grand opening on Wednesday, tomorrow night. Anyway, so and
they're going to call it the Gibson showroom, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what Ernie said. Something about
I see the messages. I thought that's what he said.
But anyway, so I'm going to be broadcasting the program live there. You'll still be able to jump on Facebook Live and see what's going on. With any luck, we'll be able to maintain a comment string so that the people can see what's going on. Carlos Barreto is going to be putting all of that together over at Shooting Star. But okay, so you're going to go, oh, great. It's going to be 40th anniversary of Ray Gibson, yada yada yada. So it's going to be all these people coming up on the program and kissing Ray Gibson's butt. Not completely. Not completely. While I'm interested certainly in hearing that I've had some kind of impact on this community over the years, I'm also interested to hear what some movers, shakers, headline makers have got to say about maybe the next 40 years in radio and otherwise. In radio and otherwise. I mean, what's your long-range prediction? Where do you see things going? Are there going to be changes in marketing? Are there different things that we're doing with television and radio and print right now that nobody would have thought about doing 1,000 years ago because we did not have this thing called the social media? So where is that going to change? How is banking going to be changing? How will business on Guam be changing in light of what we've got coming up? And maybe, it's not just, trying to look 40 years down the future, as much as it is, just trying to see what the next big thing right around the corner might be. And I don't know what the answer to that is. That's why I've got a couple of people coming in. So, as I said, 6 until 10 next Friday, not this coming Friday, but next Friday, June the 7th. Now, in addition to Mover Shakers Headline Makers, we have also lined up among some of my favorite people, and they've got stuff for me to give away. Resort World Manila, and I love them when they come in, and every time I've ever needed anything from them, frankly, whenever they needed something from me, the answer's always been yes, and it works the same way in the opposite direction. I said, dude, I know a lot of people that are going through Manila these days, and how about you get me a couple of room accommodations that I can give away as part of our 40th anniversary show? And they said, yes, Raymond, no problem. And then I sent a note to Sam over at United Airlines, and I said, how about a couple of airplane rides that I can give away on the program? And Sam said, yes, of course. So not one, but two. Isa, dalawa. I have 2 tickets aboard United Airlines to Japan. And there's a bunch of different places where you can fly to in Japan. You get Tokyo and Fukuoka and Nagoya City, et cetera, et cetera. There's a bunch of places where you can get on an airplane, a United Airlines flight from Guam out to Japan. So what do you want? You want to head down south, maybe some goofing off in Sasebo, Hiroshima, Nagasaki area? No problem. Can get you down there. You want to do Nagoya? You want to, and Nagoya, you can bump from Nagoya to Okinawa, but I don't know if you can do it on the same ticket. But anyway, the point is, I've got airplane rides for you from United, and you're going, well, how do I win those, Ray? What will I need to do? Well, remember I was talking about what's changed, what's different. Once upon a time, we'd do a contest where I'd make you go and stand in front of someplace and fill out a bunch of entry forms, and we'd bring the entry forms back here, and then I'd call your name, and then there'd be a thing, and then you go, okay.
That's so 1970s.
It's very 1970s radio. So
maybe we should do it that way.
What?
It is your 40th anniversary.
I want to do it.
Go old school, man.
I want to do it the new way.
I got to be honest. Man.
Who's gonna? I don't. I could go and find people to print entry forms, but why? Just go on. So we'll load a graphic. I'll put a graphic up on the Points website or on the Points Facebook, and as well as my own Facebook page, and then share it out to a bunch of people. And all I'll ask you to do is like and share. Like and share. That's all I want you to do. Just like the picture and share it. And then from the likes and shares, we'll conduct a random drawing from all of the people on Facebook that are playing for that. And then that's how I'll give away the tickets. I'll call your name on the radio.
Now, all of the show and everything sounds great. I think you've sadly misjudged your audience, though, because as soon as you said you're doing the Ray Gibson 40th anniversary show at BMW, at that point, everything you said afterward was,
sorry.
And the only thing they want to know is how many BMWs are we giving away?
Well, I'll have to check that with the guys over at AK, but certainly there might be some kind of deal that they could put together one way or the other. Can't speak for the client in this place, and frankly, they're the venue. There are going to be some big shots from BMW that are going to be in town for the grand opening. It's possible they might still be here when it's time for the 40th anniversary, as I'll be celebrating 40 years on the air. It was the summer of 1979 that I first cracked a radio station microphone and didn't know what I was doing then. It's 40 years later, still not really sure. Still just kind of, waiting, what Jeff Evans and I used to say, waiting for the inevitable moment where somebody would come out and say, I've been listening to that guy on the radio. He's just really not very talented or smart. I don't know why there's so many people that listen to him. You're here for the weather, right? You're here for the news. That what's going on? I'm just something in between newscasts, right? 9:35 in the morning, 888-825-5888-TALK. Is it a stroke of brilliance? Before I go into the headlines, or not headlines, but in the end of the break, is it a stroke of brilliance, or is it the best version of CYA you have ever seen? The best version of a political cover your hiney that you've ever seen, and you probably have no idea what I'm talking about. I have no idea. That's okay. I'll fill you in a second. iConnect time is 9:36. There's a plan that they've got waiting for you. You probably don't need to pay what you're paying right now for services. You probably don't use your phone enough. Probably aren't using all the bandwidth available. Just one of those things where why are you paying more for something that you don't need? They'll put together a plan that makes sense for you at iConnect. Starts with a phone call 888-8888.
The Crazy 19 menu at King's Restaurants is back with all your breakfast, lunch, and dinner favorites. Fun pancakes, tasty sandwiches, and the local dishes you crave for a limited time on the Crazy 19 menu at King's.
Let's go for a drive.
Let's take a stroll. Let's gallivant. Let's go cruising.
We all have different ways to describe how we get up and go in our cars. But whatever you may call it, you can do more of it when you save 6% off your fuel purchases at any Shell station when you use your eligible Bank of Guam Visa and MasterCard credit cards. So stop by any Guam or CNMI Shell station and start saving today. Visit bankofguam.com for more information. Terms and conditions apply. Bank of Guam, the People's Bank. Member FDIC.
The Extra Point with Jerry Roberts of Guam Training.
Hi, I'm Jerry Roberts, and every day on The Ray Gibson Show, I get to comment on the incredibly diverse, fun, challenging, sometimes frustrating, often exciting, but always interesting world of work. I hope you'll be there with us.
You can find daily transcripts of The Extra Point at guamtraining.com. Tune in every weekday morning at 7:20 for The Extra Point with Jerry Roberts, brought to you by Guahan Insurance Services and First Hawaiian Bank on 93.3 The Point.
Department of Ag Territorial Veterinarian Dr. Tom Poole seeks to inform those members of the public who plan to fly pets from Guam that the APHIS 7001 form will no longer be accepted for animal health certification. Most of the states in CONUS are now refusing to accept this form, and the rest of the states are expected to join those currently refusing the form in short order. All of the veterinary hospitals on Guam have been notified. The regular health certificates generated by each veterinary hospital are still acceptable and will serve as replacements for the APHIS 7001 form. So you should still be able to take the dogs with you when you relocate. You'll just need different paperwork to do it. So if you've been banking on having a clean APHIS 7001 form, sorry, no, different. Try again. Now, it's at 9:38. As I was rolling into the break, we do a thing called pre-promote, right? Oh, is that the case? Kelly Harasti Rodriguez is online. Just seeing her now, and I'm giving her a hard time because she's late. She says, I was listening in the car where you can't see me. Yeah, whatevers. Dave Duane's there, Marcus the Pundit, and a couple of other names are floating around here.
We have
late
cameras
into the
in our
program.
signal, too.
Yeah, I can see it backwards. I just choose not to put those on the air. 9:39. So I was teasing into the break here. That's how to make you listen to the commercials. I pre-promote something I'm going to talk about on the other side of the break. But as anybody knows, most of the time I'll pre-promote something and then completely forget about it. In this case, I didn't. In this case, I didn't. I've got it says here, bill proposes minimum wage hike, tax rollback. I was the guy last week on the radio that was giving Senator Joe S. St. Augustine, the junior. I was the one giving him a hard time about this idea of an increase in the minimum wage. Yeah. Talk to me about dignity of the hardworking people. I get it. I'm dignified, right? Lots of people work hard in this town, and some people actually, if they're lucky, get what they deserve. And some people get what they deserve based on the quality of the work they do, and they go, "That's not enough." That's how the world doesn't work like that. But anyway, and then Dr. Jones at the University of Guam comes out with a thing and says, as it turns out, it really wouldn't make that much of a difference. I mean, the numbers that they are proposing aren't that far off from the numbers that people are already making now, right? They're already getting those dollars. So an increase in the minimum wage really wouldn't make that much of a difference to them. Most of the guys are already there and beyond. So it would have, she says, a minimal impact on this. And as I said, I'm the guy that was saying, if you want to do something for all of the taxpayers, all of the people of Guam, we don't have to mess around with the minimum wage. And it doesn't look like there's a reason to mess around with the minimum wage. You can read John Brown. He's got he's got editorials in both of the newspapers that say so. If it ain't broke, don't mess with it. Guys are already there. If you want to do something that'll make a meaningful difference in this town, what you do is we roll back the business privilege tax. It's at 5. Let's take it back to 4, where it was last year. That way, everybody should get a break. Now, I know the cynics out there. I know you personally. And I know the cynics out there are going to say, well, yeah, they're going to roll it back. They'll roll it back, but none of the businesses are going to roll back their prices. You know what? That might be the case. But I would say with the level of retail competition out here, I don't know that it would last long. There might be a couple of guys going, yeah, well, I was able to get them to buy those widgets and tell them it was going to be due to an increase in the BPT, but I really kicked it up a couple of bucks. And all of a sudden, when that number rolls back and your competitor is now selling widgets at a more reasonable price, we'll watch the invisible hand have an impact on the market. And there might be some in the government going, but wait a second, we'll be missing out on that additional percent. No, you won't. It's still going to get spent. It just won't be spent at widgets. It'll be spent at widgets and the gizmos will be sold. And more people will be finally able to say, you know what, I could only buy a widget or a gizmo. But now, because we've rolled back the BPT, I can buy a widget and a gizmo. So there'll be the 4% that's going to get paid on that. And so the government will still get back. Ken LG says, last time BPT was rolled back, prices stayed the same. Hey, you know what? And I'm sure that was the case. I'm positive it was the case. But we had warned, and I had warned. I said that's what's going to happen. I told you. You told me. Everybody knew. So why did we take that chance in the increase in the BPT without actually changing the structure and the spend on the government of Guam? We didn't.
And like I say, the funny thing is all the cigarette retailers actually jacked the price up of cigarettes $2 because of a confusion that took place during the implementation of the latest increase of the BPT. So they had already added it, and then all of a sudden they said, no, you weren't supposed to add it yet until this date. And so they kept the prices the same, and then when that date arrived, they went on ahead and added another $1. Yeah. So, yeah,
well,
that's just how they are.
A little bit of confusion in the market here. But whatever it is, we're going to make sure that we're covered one way or the other. Right, if there is going to be an additional tax, we want to make sure that this is not going to have an impact on us. Ken LG says, look at all the vacant stores in the malls, and you'll see local retail retail is slowly dying. Not a BPT problem, if you ask me. I think that has everything to do with certainly the prices of the materials. But, anything you got to ship out here in a container, we know is going to be more expensive. And you know what? I go to Macy's. And I shop at Macy's, and I go to GPO, and I do some clothes shopping over at those places, and I go to Hornet and Goodies, and I buy stuff over at those places. But at the end of it, if there's a specific kind of shoe that I want and I can't find it at the usual locations, sorry, guy, I got to go online. And more, I'm finding myself going online. And as much as I like to support the local guy, there's an outfit called Stitch Fix that I use. And Stitch Fix there's a lady in San Francisco, Lisa Babin's daughter, as a matter of fact, that works there. And she will take a look at what my style ideas are and put together a box with about $250 worth of clothes in it. And if I buy all of them, then it's under $200 by a long shot. And usually get about 5 or 6 pieces of clothes.
Does it resemble a disco wardrobe?
Not quite disco wardrobe-y.
Okay.
But my point is that brick and mortar is dying. Brick and mortar everywhere is dying, and it has everything to do with the internet and Amazons and onlines and all of that. So get ready to see all of these businesses in formerly storefronts in the malls. Pretty soon they're all going to be restaurants. It's going to be one gigantic food court. And if you don't believe me, Tuman Sands Plaza. Just go by there. Count the number of restaurants that have gone up in there, and ones that are planned for near areas. 9:45 in the morning. So as I was saying, because I didn't want to get too far away from the topic. So that was our scenario, guys. We've got one senator that wants to increase the minimum wage. There are already a number of senators that have called for a rollback of the business privilege tax. And is there a way that somebody can be seen as trying to be the savior for both sides? And yes, the answer is Will Castro, ladies and gentlemen. Will Castro, and it's either a stroke of brilliance or it is the biggest taxpayer butt kiss I've ever seen in my life. Again, I have not yet decided on which, but I'm kind of bending towards the latter. So what he wants to do is he proposes an increase in the minimum wage. He says, yeah, minimum wage. But we're also going to roll back the taxes. We'll do both of them together. We'll go through with the unnecessary increase in the minimum wage and roll back the prices on the GRT. What could possibly go wrong? So he's got both of them going in there. Don't forget the liquid fuels tax there, Will, as well. I don't know. There's a part of me where I can see what he might be trying to do. He even refers to it. They've even named it. The title here is an act to implement a responsible, moderate, incremental raising of the minimum wage and to roll back the business privilege tax from 5% to 4%. But there is something else that the measure proposes, and I'm not sure about this, and it might be worth finding somebody that helped him write the law and find out why this is.
I think what he's going to try to argue here is that you can go ahead and reduce the tax because the additional revenue generated in taxes from the added wages will make up the difference of that 1%. But how many jobs here are actually minimum wage?
I don't know.
I don't know.
If I say let's do the research in anticipation of moving this bill forward, then people will say, "Oh, that's typical right-wing conservative chamber guy. That's what you want to do. You won't do anything until you have some kind of report in front of you, some kind of third-party independent review of the market, the fiscal impact study." That's just because you want to just keep sticking it to the little man out there. What about the dignity of the worker, Ray? How dare you? I don't know. What's everybody saying? Ken LG, yeah, vacant stores in the malls. I got you. The retail is slowly dying. You know what? I think retail can survive, but we need to. You've already got the big stores, big box stores. You got Ross. And I wonder about, Ross, how many other categories of businesses. And I'm not saying that Ross is a bad thing.
Right.
I'm just saying that Ross can kill small businesses the same way, you get a Walmart coming into town, and you just look at the universe, the constellation of products that they've got in there. Anybody else who is selling, whose primary business is involved in that particular product line is going to have a hard time.
Yeah.
Because, I don't care what. The Walmart's going to get it cheaper. Ross is going to get it cheaper.
Yeah, a community the size of Guam, we got, short of 180,000 people here, not including military, or that may be including. You really can only support like 2 of those big box stores like that.
Well, you brought up the military. Don't forget the commissary and the exchanges.
Well,
right?
but that's inside the fence. We don't ever see any
but it
of that.
still has an impact, and there are more people today on this side of the fence that for whatever reason, they've got the ability to be able to go on base and buy a television set, a washing machine, dog food, toilet paper, cold steaks, cheaper beer than you can get off base.
See, I'm not allowed to go on base because I have no idea what they have over there. But yeah, and that does make a difference.
Yes, there's a certain category of Howley that we have here that confounds my military friends. They think my military friends think all white people can go shopping on the base. That's not the way it works.
If your hair's longer than collar length, you're not going to get let on.
There's a certain amount of Howleys here that just we don't get that. No, didn't have the privilege of service. Can't buy on the auto port. Bulla bulla unless it's tied to real budget cuts, says Daryl Taggarty. Waiting to see the final budget passed by the legislature. That will be the true test of this legislature's commitment to, quote, responsible government. And also chimes in, says Will Castro's bill is a 2020 campaign sound bite full of sound and fury, accomplishing nothing in the end. Look, there's always going to be critics, but this one here looks like it's just bending over backwards, trying to make everybody happy. I know that I want to be the good Republican and say no to the minimum wages. But, what the heck? There's a minority over at the legislature. How much can you stand in the way of that? You might as well pick up the bucket and run with it. You holding one end of it and Joe S. holding the other. But wait, you can still look like a hero to the guys over at the chamber. Yeah, all your buddies that slurp from the fountain of commerce. You can still look good to them by saying, hey, we're going to roll back that business privilege tax. Like it's going to make a big difference, guys. It ain't going to make that big of a difference, I think, in a lot of cases. Because remember what I've told you time and time again, businesses don't pay taxes. Businesses collect taxes and then give it to the government. And that's the way it's been since forever, and that's the way it's always going to be. So we'll watch and see. I can see both sides chiming in, saying, stop helping. Stop. It ain't going to have the impact that you think it's going to have, Will. Go back to giving Guam driver's license to people from Saipan. 9:51 in the morning. And while I got a second here, I did want to touch on this because as much of a hard time as I give her, because she seems to let everybody out. I think word got to Judge Anita Sokola that says they're watching you over in the media. They've got a guy, Ramon Meneses, 28 years old, asked to be released to the custody of his parents until the trial. Judge Anita Sokola said no. She said she was deeply concerned that one of his parents might be a witness in the case. She said she was also concerned that Meneses had a considerable amount of assets despite the fact that he didn't have a job. Well, I don't know. Is that a crime? You take a look at everybody. Look at Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah, but if you don't have a job, and then that leaves the source of your funding questionable, which then leads to other,
I think there we go. Meneses charged in February after cops pulled him over, found marijuana, suspected meth, and a gun. Officers searched his house and found more drugs, more guns, more drug ledgers. Ooh, drug ledgers. Code? It'd be cool if he's got ledgers, be able to show off how much money he's been able to make selling.
I got to tell you, bro, Guam has got the smartest drug dealers.
5.27 pounds of methamphetamines and 837 grams of marijuana that got picked up by the police department, charged with possession of a Schedule I controlled substance with intent to deliver. Drug dealer
with a ledger.
So how much time do you suppose this guy is going to get, the quote drug kingpin? First of all, Anita Sokola rightfully is not letting him out. Thank God. A little bit of sense floating around there. But now what I want to be able to see is what kind of prosecution is this guy going to get? Has the plea bargaining already begun?
If he turns over his ledger, maybe they'll say that he's trying to help.
Well, they have already got the ledger.
Yeah,
it's already in there. It's evidence. So what are they going to say it is? So you write it, regret it, for heaven's sakes. So that's where we go with this one. So I want to see who over at the Attorney General's office is going to get this and immediately start with a yellow streak down the back saying, I don't think I can take this all the way in. I don't think I can get a big conviction on him. I think we better just do some plea bargaining. We'll see if we got somebody in there that's going to start the plea bargaining already, and then we'll see what kind of sentence he gets. Will we send another one of those strong signals like we did last week, where we took somebody already convicted of being a drug dealer, slinging the devil's drug here on Guam, ruining everybody's life in the process? And yeah, he got a mean sentence. I'll bet they scowled at him, and they said, yeah, that's what you get. We're putting you in for a year and a half. And the other guy, the last Monday, they allowed to self-surrender. You remember that one there? Yeah, 88 days. And he was able to go to the judge and say, I want to be able to spend a little bit more time with my kids because, my kid's he's got a science project. His science project. I told him I'd teach him how to make a volcano. And as it turns out, I just taught him how to make one of those little shake and bake labs, right? It's the one, if you do it right, you got some meth. If you do it wrong, boom, the house, gone. But I told him, Your Honor, I taught him how to do it right. And so the judge says, yes, but only for the science project. And then after that, you've got to go to jail and serve your 88 days in prison. Yeah, right on. That's the problem, if you ask me. But nobody asking me. Hapatina Gumatauta online. Nick Perlowski. It's like the old Four Top song. It's the same old song, but with different senators doing us wrong. Oh, that is so beautiful. 9:55 in the morning. Okay.
Legends aren't born, they are made. And during our Jeep Celebration event at Cars Plus and Mighty, you'll receive up to $6,000 in accessories with the purchase of a new Jeep Wrangler, Motor Trend SUV of the Year. Customize your new Jeep to the way you want it. Or how about a new Jeep Grand Cherokee? Save up to $5,000. Or save up to $7,500 on a new Jeep Compass Sport. It's our Jeep Celebration event going on now at Cars Plus and Mighty. Cars Plus, driven by you. Accessory special cannot be combined with other offers. See dealer for details.
Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they'll continue to be there for you in the years to come. Whether you're looking to get a personal loan for that summer vacation or paying off those long overdue bills, Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $3,600 by calling Family Finance in Agutya at 475-4545, Upper Tumon at 647-5626, or in Dededo 633-4473. Family Finance, serving the people of Guam since 1959.
Business travel just got easier. Take your data plan with you for only $10 a day to all 17 Data2Go destinations. Never worry about additional data roaming charges when you go where your business needs you. The US, China, Thailand, and so much more. Have the assurance you need to check emails, surf the web, and stay connected. Call 688-2677 today to make sure your account is Data2Go ready. Docomo Pacific. Better together.
Trying to see how much of that big hamburger I can get on the screen. National Burger Day over at Chili's, and buy one get one free is the basics on it. Terms and conditions apply, and today only because it's National Burger Day on the Chili's. Get a burger entree, get the second one for free, and everybody needs to go and do this. Hashtag Chili's Guam, hashtag buy one, get one, hashtag National Burger Day. today over at the Chili's place, and they do an outstanding job with the chili there. A couple of minutes away from 10 o'clock in the morning, and I guess I'm just going to have to finish on that, I think. I think that's where the program is going to just end up here, is where we were. There were a couple of other stories that I wanted to go after. A couple of people that had read the editorial by Kelly Marsh over the weekend that said, use enough-a-malic approach to our public bathrooms, and then we're giggling the entire time. And so tomorrow, we'll get around to that if possible. A couple of other things. Just Bank Pacific, sponsors of the program here, they are looking for a residential mortgage loan specialist. This is one of those places you can start working at Bank Pacific, and that's almost a lifetime job. So I'd really would urge you to consider it a high sales and goal-driven position. You ought to have 2 years of progressive residential lending experience, including VA, USDA, and Freddie Mac loans, or 5 years of lending experience. A bachelor's degree in business or finance preferred, but not necessary. It's Bank Pacific, so you know you got the regular benefits package, plus the thrill of working with Phil Flores. Where others put branches, they place roots. You place roots, too. Like I said, could last you a lifetime there. Man, a bunch of stuff I didn't get to today. It's a good thing there's more days left in the week. That's it for Tuesday. Back with you and Mike and Kevin Kerrigan and Blake Watson tomorrow morning about 6 a.m. Until then, we're KUSG Agana. Stand by now. Fox News Live is next.
D3.
Remembering the Fallen. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. Solemn remembrances across the country and in Washington.